Oh, hey, Kinemano, what's going on? I'm just getting my stuff set up. I I now have dedicated time that I can put towards the channel again. I've been putting out videos recently. I slowed down a little bit this last like week or two, but I've got a couple coming out. I'm actually all right with Golden Week for once because I oh god, I accidentally clicked on the video. Hold on. Oh no, it's my video. Okay. I had Twitter opened and I was like, I thought I clicked on something that it was gonna like echo out the whole time. It like, you ever have so many tabs open and then you accidentally click on something with sound and just try to figure out where the sound, like what video it's coming from, is like which one it is. And you spend like 5 minutes just clicking from tabs. But yeah, I've got some like, it's a little hard to do content for new series when they come out outside of reviews because there's so many open ends to things, like when it comes to powers and character backstory stuff. Kyoshi's starting to get to where you can do more like general content on. I'm actually really stoked for that. God, my internet's being a little choppy with it. I can't tell if that's just because of OBS or what am I doing, because on OBS it doesn't show as choppy, but it's actually really choppy on my stream. What's going on, man? Does it show like, it might just be my internet right now. Is it coming through really choppy visually or sound wise? Today I mostly just want to run a test and kind of just, I was hoping at least to get a couple people in here to just give feedback. What's up, Fenrir? How are you doing today, man? Laxus Renji, how are you? Because I like making videos more than streams, but I don't mind streams. I was thinking, because the problem is when there's like weeks where there's nothing that goes on, it's like I want to do a stream, but it's like sometimes it's hard if there's like almost nothing to talk about. I'm hoping at some point soon I kind of want to go back to doing just certain games in the long run, because I played most of Digimon Cyber Sleuth on my own, and like I can play that game for so many hours. I'm still only like halfway done, but whenever I get to Survive, I kind of want to do stuff for the channel just as extra content still, where it's just, yeah, whatever, for anybody that kind of just wants background noise or while they're driving or whatever. And there's a couple of games I was thinking about. I saw Oblivion got remastered out of nowhere, and I never really played the game, so I was thinking about getting that soon. I was thinking about maybe getting that at the end of the month, because, like, um, I don't want to spend the money right now because I got some family birthdays and stuff for my wife coming up for her birthday, so I don't want to spend any money on any games right now. But like, I know when I get that, I'm gonna be able to get like hundreds of hours out of the game, so I'll be able just to do that as like a side thing for something for the channel for content, just as, just as additional thing. Because the thing is, like, I I still have a couple videos that I've got coming up. I'm so stoked. I've got 2 videos. I'm gonna try and turn it into 3, but it is of an old theory that I had a long time ago, and I'll give you guys, just because for the people here, a little bit of information on it. It's the whole theory, because originally we had Zeref as the Black Wizard, and that was always kind of by itself a thing. But I always had the idea of, if the whole idea when you think about what would happen in the future for expansion, and when I was first introduced to Zeref, like the actual character, was when he was introduced to the manga. So I've had ideas around that for a long time, and I was thinking, like, if Acnologia's symbol, like in the verses of the Apocalypse, you could have how you have the Black Wizard as different colored wizards for the Horsemen of the Apocalypse, and then we were given Athena as the White Wizard. So I'm kind of hoping we complete that, go back, and then we get the Green Wizard and the Red Wizard, I guess, would be the respective colors. So we have black, white, red, and green, and you could kind of do it right now, and I've got some videos on it and the way that it would all make sense, but we'll get to that probably in the next few days. I'm gonna probably record it tonight. It'll be out either tomorrow or the next day, because I gotta do a couple videos, and then I gotta get caught up on reviews on stuff for like a couple other series, like Galaxia's, the Martial King, which I'm a couple weeks behind on that one. It's weird because that series, like, it reads like a monthly being split up weekly, and I think now it's bi-weekly. I don't know. Yeah, sound fine, image is choppy. I'll look into that. As long as the sound is the main thing for me that I care about, because I don't care as much about the image because I don't have anything going on right now, and it's like if I'm going to show something, it's going to be as just a panel. Um, so the sound obviously is more what I'm looking for, because most of the time I hope for my streams is, as I've mentioned, it's like you just put it in the background for something. You know, this isn't a game show. We're mostly just going to be talking about whatever's going on, or whatever's plans and stuff that's going on. Yeah, I think you. The thing though is like I think you'd have to substitute pale, because it's like you'd have to go with a color, and that would be switched over to black. I think that would just be what makes the most sense. It would be one of those things where it's just because of the formatting of it. Because when you think about it too, Acnologia is the apocalypse with the dragons, but Ignia is their revival. He is like their entire rebirth, and him coming back and bringing the dragons back to the world is really, and this is something I talked about in the video, he doesn't need a lot of dragons to come back into the world for like the species to have like a strong return rate. Like, unless people just go hunt them down immediately, you only need so many dragons. Because I still believe that there are a handful of dragons hidden out there in the world still that just refuse to come out of hiding. I think that just makes sense. But yeah, also just a side note, yeah, I will look into why the image is a little choppy, and we'll try and get that fixed. That's why I mostly wanted to do a test stream today, and then I'll figure out what exactly I need to fix on this, because my internet should be good, and I just got this new camera. It's probably something in my connections or something in my settings that's messed up. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm going through OBS, but we'll figure it out. No, the Irene talked about the it was the angels that had to do with Mount Hakobe. That's a whole different thing. Or was that Mount Zonia? Was that Mount Zonia? I think so. We got just the two random big ass mountains set up. Well, one is like a singular big mountain setup, and then one is a bunch of ranges. Well, I can pull up the chapter, but she's talking about the angels specifically, because it was like the whole thing about what determined the color of the snow on the mountain, and then the white angel one. But I mean, that could go over into Athena and stuff, because the thing that I think makes sense is, one, I still think that Athena in Eleftheria is just such a weird side plot that Mishima like has existing but hasn't done anything with. But like everything around Eleftheria, like everybody agrees is just, he seems very suspicious. It wouldn't surprise me if he becomes like another faction and splits off, and that would be how you have like a general whole setup for, you know, going into this big calamity, is you just have this one extra guy challenging everything. I don't know, because Eleftheria to me, like, the thing about Eleftheria to me that makes him, I think, the most generally suspicious is if he is strong enough to even fight, like, if he is strong enough to beat Dogromag, right? And granted, like, he theoretically, like, you know, in idea, like, lost his heart, and, you know, he didn't really die. I mean, he lost a big part of his power, sort of, and, you know, it just seems to not really have gimped him, but it just made him not, like, it essentially made him almost hollow-ish in terms of, like, what he could be, because the heart just seemed to evolve past him. It just seemed to be something that, like, if, like, the idea of if Eleftheria had the heart as well, he seemed to be, would be probably closer to Dragon God level. But, I mean, it still means that he was able to beat somebody at the baseline of it at the bar, and the fact that he is that powerful, but he doesn't really go out and fight or do anything, makes him really weirdly suspicious to me. And on top of that, a law dragon, he has never demonstrated how it works in combat, but he was able to beat Dogromag in a fight. So how exactly, like, why exactly doesn't he not do anything? Why does he not demonstrate like himself in fights? Like, he does a lot of stuff that seems weird, and it seems like he's intentionally trying not to, I don't know, trying not to make a scene, trying not to like show his abilities or do anything. Like Eleftheria, I just don't see in any way being character that's gonna just, have a nice little, oh yeah, he was our friend all along and everything went well, and by the end of it, he just walked off and he had a good day. Because what is he gonna do for the whole thing? What is he gonna do for the whole arc? And on top of that, we know that he was already set up with, oddly, at the very beginning 100 Years quest with that village. So there's got to be something weird with his backstory that we just don't know about that hasn't tied in. And on another thing, we also know that relatively every time that it comes to like a character and their backstory, when they give information after Eleftheria gives information on them, Eleftheria always seems to be withholding information that we find out later through another character. That it turns out, like with Athena, that turns out he was there and he knows more about it, but he just didn't say anything until Athena came and later started to give more information that Eleftheria could have given the whole time. That's the weird thing about with him. Let me see. Yeah, I'll figure out what's going on with the video quality, because like I said, as long as the sound quality is fine, I think that's what's more important. I don't have any image demonstrations or anything. This is more of a just a test, doing stuff, seeing what's going on, seeing what everybody else is doing. What have you guys been up to lately? At least it's not Sussex Kwan saying he beat Josuke basketball. Good times. I'm sure that he still believes that even to this day. I haven't heard from Josuke for a while, but I'm pretty sure he's still confident that it would be a very clean sweep for him in basketball. I've never heard that. I've never heard Kwan even was able to make a basket when they would play. I heard he just unfortunately can't jump very high. What do you guys? Has anybody here played the Elder Scrolls remaster for Oblivion? I'd like to try it at some point, but we'll see. I'm kind of hoping maybe Mishima will play it, and that will further just put him in the sword mindset to keep juicing up Wed. And Wed, because what was he playing, Kazan? I want him just to be in like a really aggressive mindset and give us like a really brutal fight between him and Urza. Because one thing is like Urza hasn't had like a really good sword match in a long time, and I would love to have an Azuma style fight, but between swords. And I'm really liking that every time so far that they meet, Urza is clearly not clearly not stronger and clearly not capable of beating Wed. And things need to happen to kind of get Urza not in the end phase where he just ends up defeating her and probably kills her. Because I can see Urza defeating him in the future, because it's like she just has, I think she's gonna have more, obviously, overall long scale like battles and experience. On top of that, Wed, I don't know. Like there's the thing about Wed and Ignia and like the whole backstory of them is, it's weird that we're given stuff that is easily able to be fit into points in the story if you understand like the chain of events, but there's chunks missing that obviously it's like, what's going on with Wed and Ignia? We haven't actually had them talk to each other. What's going on with Wed's mom? Assuming it's Bestia. What's up with Bestia? Why is Ignia hooking up with a human? If he's a dragon, is this what influenced him and like hanging out with humans? What is his whole mindset afterwards going to be once he turns people into dragons? Is it going to be like a kingdom where if you come and earn favor, they'll turn you into a dragon? I don't really know. What's up, Bladius? I think I've had my face like in videos for I think almost a year now, man. I don't know. You seen a walkthrough of the game? Yeah, I haven't really done anything. I played a little bit when I was really young, and all I did was go around and fight people. I didn't play any of like the story or do any of the quests. I just went around and fought people. My brother was more into it, so I didn't really play it too much. But I was thinking about getting into it just because I thought it was really cool that they just did like a random remaster, and I think it's only like $50 or something. So I might get it sometime at the end of the month. We'll see. The problem is like I have other stuff, like I still got to finish Digimon Cyber Sleuth because I haven't done any of the DLC, but I bought the package with the DLC one. Man, you haven't been streaming in a while. Well, it's good to see you back, man. Yeah, I'll look into. Oh, I really want to figure out what's doing this. Like, why is it shopping? Maybe if I lower my. Let me lower my my window box right now. Let me see when it comes up. Like I said though, the fact the sound is good is the best part. Because like if I wanted to, I could just turn the thing off and like I could just have panels and put stuff up here again. So it's not really a problem. Let me see. Does it work better when I made the thing smaller? When I made the box smaller? It looks like it's a little bit more consistent. So I wonder if it's just because my OBS, it's like I have my short video background running at the same time, maybe? I don't know. It seems like it's working a little bit more. There's probably something that I'm just not doing properly. But I'll figure it out. Because I know my internet's fine. Drop most of manga. Most of manga went now. See, that was I understood a lot of people that were doing that near the end of the last, I would say, like a little over a year and a half ago or two, just because a lot of the general manga was finishing, like a lot of stuff in that area was finishing up. You know, Black Clover was going on break. My Hero was in the final arc, but it was going like really slow. Jujutsu Kaisen was locked in that Sukuna gauntlet, and I think everything was just what felt really weird. But I don't know, Blaze. I would say come back and read some of the newer stuff. A lot of the stuff from that's come out in the last year or so has been really good. Like everything forward of Gachi Akuta, I think has been really solid. Kagurabachi, Ultimate Exorcist Kyoshi, Ichi the Witch, Galaxias, the Martial King, Nui's Exorcist. I think all these have been really good new series that have that like, to be honest, I think only a few of the last generation had that shonen feeling that I really liked. Black Clover was one of them. Mashle was one of them. Undead Unluck had it to a degree, but I think Undead Unluck got fucked by the fact that its anime was behind the Disney wall of security. I really think that hurt it a lot. It just as one of the things for that, just as a to note, is I've paid attention a long time to notice how bad an anime reception like bomb can really affect a manga, and I think that's why the manga kind of got rushed near the end. Yeah, I actually am still mad that Build King got axed. I would have loved to see Build King to where it's at now. It would have been so interesting. I love the idea of the verse and how it was structured, and how like the idea of, like, you had these essentially dungeons that you, if you conquered, and the dungeon itself could pick you to have these like one of a kind ultimate powers, and I thought that just the whole structure of the power system was really neat. If he led in with the power system in chapter 1 and just like, I think that the real issue is like he made it was right during where a lot of the content coming out was super fast in how they presented it, and it just went into an old shonen style and it got eaten alive. I think if Build King came out now, I think it would do a little bit better. It just depends, but I genuinely think that he would have to start a little bit faster and with the power system in chapter 1. And I think that he could have really made a fun and interesting series. It just depends. Obviously, that's a completely what if thing, but I really loved the premise of the verse. I thought that I've read Toriko. I know what the guy's capable of in terms of art and action, but it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. I miss it. Maybe at one point he'll come back. We're due at some point for him to randomly come up with some new weird series where it's going to be like in a world where What would be his next thing? Because he did a thing on buildings, he did one on food. What would be another thing that he would think of? I don't know, art? Make it about paintings? Something about like how art is something that keeps humanity in check, and like art like keeps us from going feral. And then there's different like types of artistic combat. Actually, I don't know. Something funny like that would just be odd in how he turns it into something entertaining. That's what I'm talking about, man. We could have had Build King already in this whole area, but unfortunately it was not well received. People didn't see the vision that I saw. I don't know. Moggy, I liked Moggy. I think with, like, my only thing with Moggy is like it had the whole fact that the author just leaned so hard into doing stuff with Sinbad, and I don't know. I felt like it was I don't know. It felt like it got a little bit fan fiction focused on him for a little bit. Because like then he gets his own side series, and then he becomes God, and then he's just like, wow, Sinbad was right in the winner all along. Not a fan personally, but like I said, I wasn't a long follower. Maybe the people that really enjoyed the series loved the ending. Well, so if you're talking about the Build King power system, I thought it was really cool how if you had generally you had a select power color, and that color represented one of the the branches of the power system. Like, you know, red had to do with fire and stuff, and then you could use it offensively, so you can use that like heat based power and do like some form of fiery based attack, or use it defensively and you buff something and it gives it resistance, because you would build stuff with that color built into it in that type of environment. So you'd have ways of just having defensive counters to that, you know, specific color and type automatically. And then for people having multiple colors, the way they combined them, and then there were people that had like one of a kind vigors that you were able to have other types combined with it. It was just really interesting. I thought that if he leaned in with the power system from the start, I think the series could have done better. But I genuinely, the thing I think genuinely that hurt it the most, it's a card that I dropped. I think that it should have been. I think it should have been released later. I think maybe like either right now, sometime in the current era, just because at the time of everything that was coming out was very fast in events. Like, it would be like main character, bam, the next chapter, main character joins the group already, or like already is like going on mission number 1. By like chapter 5, the main character has already had a really sick fight and used their power 100% of the way, and it's already been acknowledged by someone high up in command that says like, damn, this kid is a natural, let's bring this kid on a higher level mission. Everything moved super fast. I think Black Clover was a really good example of a shonen that has that length, but it was fast in a lot of ways. I think it really would have benefited if it went slower, but it went fast, but then it would kind of like take these random slow points where like a bunch of things are going on. So obviously like it took up a bunch of the manga points, and there was just a lot of like travel and like downtime points. But every point in between, when they're like moving in between like major point A to point B, but all the sub points in between there would just take a while. But they would end up just they would end up just stuck in battle for like 80 chapters of just different group fights. I thought that was fun though, but I mean, probably not gonna have any. Maybe we'll have like one group fight left, I think, in the series, because I would hope that we're gonna have everybody show up to come fight Lucius. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's like not caught up with the manga or anything, but I'm kind of confused on if this is Lucius's ultimate plan. I would assume he's got one more form. See, it's still choppy. I'm looking at it in the stream. I'll figure it out after this. Because it shouldn't be... Because before, I had a really bad internet connection like a year or so ago. because I was staying at a family member's house. But now I have pretty good internet. I should. I signed up for like one of the better packages, so I should have pretty solid internet. So I don't know. It might be something in my connection. It might be something in my Streamlabs, or not Streamlabs, in OBS. But we'll figure it out. Maybe it's because I'm going from OBS and through here. I don't know. The hero's journey of old has been taken by modern authors due to people's attention span. Well, I think a lot of that is coming back. I think a lot of that's coming back, especially because Kyoshi was a really good example to me of, at least as of right now, I'm got my fingers crossed that Volume 3 will sell pretty well. I don't need it to break a million records. I just need it to show a good consistent health of the series. But it is a very shonen series, and I'm very happy to see that it has been well received after, like, you know, Oda gave it an endorsement and then people actually checked it out. Because there's a really unfortunate just condition of the modern market where if people don't read something after, like, you know, chapter 5 for the early series, they'll just never touch it again. And even if it's like something really cool is happening, really interesting, it's hard to get people back into something like that unless, you know, something like a viral event pops off and then it gains a lot of sudden media attention. But otherwise, it was really good to see that that recommendation gave people a lot of opportunity to read it, and then that seems to have saved the series, at least at the time. We'll see what Volume 3 sells like. Again, got my fingers crossed on it. I'm really hoping that it does really well. I gotta buy a volume of it. I'm gonna do that soon. I really like the yellow and red color too. It looks really nice. But I think a lot of the stuff is coming back, and I think Kyoshi is a good example of that. Kagurabachi is like right there in between. It's got parts that are pretty fast paced, but it in of itself is not it doesn't feel, again, like how sometimes like My Hero and Black Clover would just suddenly really fast events would happen. And I know obviously right now we're in a specific boss fight, but I think I don't want to go into like theories for Kagurabachi and spoiler stuff, but I do think that this is more of a certain type of character setup for giving the sword a new user that's not going to be the villain for a while. I don't really see Samora living is essentially how I'm going to go with it. I doubt his character is going to make it past this arc. Wait, you think I should get a VTube model? I don't know about that. I've been suggested that one so far, and I was like, I don't really know if I want to do that. Do you think what Igneous Sense might be relevant to Igneous arc? I think that whatever it is either Doggermag has been revived indirectly just because of the events of how the whole setup is. Because one thing too is we haven't been explained as to why Alderaan is back up. And I would really like to know what's up with that. Is that something to do with the fact that they, you know, the Erasion Sex defeated it, and then now he's back up and they have like control on him somehow? Or is this Ferris? Is Alderaan just fine by himself? Did they not defeat him properly? I don't really know. There's complete and total like question mark for like unknown reveal still there. And I think that is going to play into what's going on, either what exactly Ignia finds. Because if it's not Doggermag, I think it has to do with Acnologia's arm. Because Ferris is not using Acnologia's arm directly on her body. She's using this mechanical arm, and the actual arm has to be somewhere in some form of container that siphons power or something. And if the revival of everything causes the other dragon gods to come up, what if it revives Acnologia from that arm and brings him back, and we're going to have him here for a while? Because we still... And one thing, I have a video that I'm going to do probably today or tomorrow about talking about just kind of... I want to wrap up some events and talk about why I think some of the recent narration is really important. But essentially, that I think that there's I think that we have been, the 100 Years Quest has been laid out essentially like how Mishima would do a lot of portions of the story. Like, if you look at everything prior to Sirius Island, everything, you have different arcs, all that interconnect, and then ultimately go to Sirius Island when you have a large event that is a culmination of all these different events before it. And we do have anime original content that goes into events with the after, after the first time skip with the Starry Sky arc and with the Eclipse Spirit arc. So really you have 4 arcs or so with some mini arcs in between before into the next time skip, you into Alvarez. And with that, you do have the Dragon Crime movie that does go between, again, stuff like Avatar, Orochi's Fin, and then obviously Alvarez. And then you have 100 Years Quest. And we don't have anything really for additional content, but we do have a lot of arcs that already are set up for what's going on right now. We know Ignia's whole plan for everything that's been going on with all the other arcs was to set up for reviving everybody and getting everybody set up for right now. So the question is, what exactly what exactly for Ignia is he going to see once we get there, and if that's going to either be in his favor, getting Dogromag back, or is it going to be something like with Acnologia getting revived? And I would assume if he's revived from an arm, he's not going to have any memories, and it's going to be one of those scenarios, but who knows? I would hope so, because I'm never against the idea of a character coming back if it can be made, like, there's sense made for it, especially if you have something weird like this. It's just like, if you bring a character back, what is your plan with them? What are you going to do with them exactly? What is your exact reason that you're going to direct them now into the story, and where exactly you are going to evolve their character from, or push things in the story further from? That's what, like, the weird thing for me with Zero is, like, where is Zero going to play into things? Because there's no way I think that he can lose to Midnight. So what exactly is he going to provide into the story? I don't know if he's either going to be someone, like, I think ultimately he has to be a character more for Natsu or for Gray. Because either you have him kind of, his revenge on Natsu and do stuff with that for Natsu, or it's going to be this time Gray getting a chance to fight him because he's more demonic this time, and give Gray a chance to fight somebody that Natsu fought but much more powerful, which I still think would be really cool to see, just because it would be a different, it would be them at a much higher level, but it would be the idea of, like, what if Gray went and fought Zero instead back during the Erasion Sace arc? I think that would just be a really cool kind of showing of what we would have had. Because obviously Gray couldn't have been powered up the same way at the same time, but if he was able to instead match him directly without needing a boost, just because in this scenario, well, he would have general, like, strength levels, but he would have the Devil Slayer boost on top of it. We don't know how powerful Zero is. I personally think that Zero is going to be, like, I think he has to have a very big reveal for his strength, just because, like, his is already really weird. Then unless we get, like, clarification about, like, his face tattoos, then it must mean that he, once they go away, he switches with Brain, and Brain takes over. And in this case, Brain is more powerful, and then maybe because then they should also have an Aetherius form, and maybe their Aetherius form is both of them at the same time fused, which would explain why exactly there's, like, a whole thing where Brain, or Zero could use multiple spells at the same time. Because some people, it doesn't seem to be as much of an issue, but with Zero and Brain, it just does seem like they're just always was really locked. Just in singular. I'm trying to think if there's any time in the anime where we saw him using 2 spells at the same time. I don't think so. Yeah, you get some good sleep there, man. I appreciate you guys just stopping by. I just wanted to test some stuff. I gotta figure out a little bit with the how to make it less choppy. Once I figure out how to make it less choppy, I'll look into a general time of when I want to look into doing streams or something. I have a couple videos that I'm going to do. Like I said, I have a couple Fairy Tail videos I want to do. I really want to do some, get these videos on Kyoshi done, because I got some stuff on. I want to talk about Hitsugi as a character. I want to talk about his ability with Perfect Blue, because he has a really good example of understanding, I think, the power is just looking at it as the first first thing we see evolve, because we got like one power, like one technique from it before, and then over this last fight, I think we got 4 or 5 new abilities. But at the same time, because we saw him go from just using a weapon to actually having a crest, we understand how it works from power, or like training and upgrading to get to that point. Whereas like Kyoshi was already like, you know, showing up at the end and had a new ability rather almost every single chapter, and now every once in a while he shows up with something in addition. Because a lot of the abilities in the verse, like techniques, don't seem complicated. It's like, it's just how the characters form their techniques is personal to them, and you can just have so many different styles. It kind of reminds me of molding magic. Like if they all just have their own different style of molding magic, and they just kind of have a free form of inventing techniques. But what do you guys think? Does anyone here like the idea of a Elder Scrolls remastered playthrough? Does anyone think that would be really fun? Kenmano, are you still here? I don't know if you've played the game. I can't remember if you were someone who told me that you played the game before. I don't know if you guys can hear my dog in the back. He's mad. I was hanging out just one of my dogs right now, so my other dog is really upset. But we'll see. Because whenever I get Survive, I want to play through that, but I'm gonna finish probably Cyber Sleuth by myself. I spent a lot of time just kind of grinding, but I also had a nice like time turning it into a like into an AFK game, and just having my window open and letting my guys just travel and level up at the farm. I haven't played almost relatively any of them. Like I said, I only played a little bit of Oblivion, but I never played it really in depth. And I didn't actually play it. I just ran around and did nothing for probably a couple hours and then gave up on the game. But I want to get through it at some point. I wouldn't mind doing it for like a log, because it's just one of those games where people can have such a different experience in what they do, just, you know, depending on what their general objective is. I think it would be fun. I think it'd be a good time just to travel around and get lost in a bunch of shenanigans. Because I'm guessing that they're gonna, I'm guessing that they're also using this game to probably test the waters for their upcoming one, and see, you know, because I wonder how far along they are in the next Elder Scrolls. Because I know, because I don't follow a lot of stuff with Bethesda, because I haven't played a lot of Bethesda games. But I know that Starfield didn't do very well. I think that was their game, right? And I would imagine that they would want to make sure that they're... Oh God, it makes me mad a little bit that it's choppy. They don't want their flagship games to do poorly. So it's like, if they bring this out, from what I understand, it's done really well. So it's like, they're just going to look at it and say, oh, well, looks like people still want this and this. And based on the other game, we know what people don't want. Bam, you just combine the two of them and figure out what you want, and then you have a successful product. Because all you have to, because I don't understand how people can have like certain things that you know are successful, and then don't just upgrade upon them and continue from there. Like, oh, people like it, so that you know, you can buy a house and get servants and then have them do tasks. Okay, well, how do we do more stuff with them? Okay, you get to give the people backstory, and you could fire them, and there's a chance that they'll want revenge, and just like ridiculous things that you can put in the game just for fun, versus like, oh yeah, the character, you can have 30 different styles of socks that you can put them on, and it's just different shadings, and that's what they spent their time into, different clothing shadings. It's like, you could have had that pretty easily anyway. Why is that the big takeaway? I don't know. I don't know exactly the full scope of their fumbles, but I would hope that they look at whatever worked in this game, and they say, man, I'm glad we made this water test, and now we know what people are looking for, so we can not fuck up in our next game. And I think that would hopefully keep them afloat. 'Cause I really like it when you have games where there's just a lot of stuff that you can wander around and do, and just, you know, just let yourself kind of make your own adventure depending on what you're feeling about. You're planning on getting it soon? Yeah, I'm gonna get it relatively soon. I've got some stuff going on. I just don't want to spend any money on it. I might get it like the end of the month. We'll see. I think it'll be a good time. We'll turn it into a whole thing. I'll put like, I mean, because like realistically, if I put just like everything in like 2 or 3 hour videos, like I could probably have like one of those a day for like the course of like 5 months of that type of game, if I've got a bunch of like random side things I want to do and I don't just do the story. Because think about it, just because one thing I realized is like you can turn something successful for like just side things on YouTube if you have a consistent just random what is the bullshit today. And a game like that is perfect for it because it's like, okay, let's see what the character. Because one thing I want to do is I want, oh, it's free on Xbox, Game Pass. Damn, that's lucky. I don't have Xbox. Let me see. I think it's on Steam. I'm pretty sure. Well, I'm pretty sure it's on Steam. I'm like 99% certain. I guess I didn't want to say 100 because I haven't clicked on it. I guess, but I think it's like $50 or something on Steam, something like that. Let me scroll down and find it. I think it would be. I think it'd be a good time. Is it not on Steam? I would be surprised if it's not. Let me see. No, it is. Yeah, it's $50. Like I said, I'll probably get it sometime at the end of the month, maybe. Because I know a game like that, it's an old game, so I mean, like, it's not like it's not going to be good from like a year from now or whatever. I could wait a little bit, but whatever I do, that'll be the plan. Maybe I'll do a stream. I'll do I'll do a fundraising stream for it, and we'll just sit around and try and see how long it takes to stream for $50 and get the game. I think that would be pretty fun. If if you want a 2 hour video every day of me playing Oblivion, we need a $50 build up. That would be the plan. I will entertain daily. I think one of those games, like, at the same time, I've never played it, so I would have stuff where I'm just doing nothing. I'm just getting lost. Maybe I'm stealing cheese. I think that'd be perfect. I will definitely got to figure out what's up with this freaking choppy video though. Let me see. I wonder if I can look it up really fast. Because the fact the video or the audio is fine makes me wonder what's up with the connection. Let me see. Video quality. I'm searching it up. Listen, if you want to donate, it doesn't have to be one person. It could be collectively. We just have to earn it. I could even do streams every day. I could do a stream every day until we raise $50. Well, not every day because the days I have to work. On my days off, until we get enough. Because I have the time right now, and I could definitely, like, because the thing is, it's not like, I think when it comes to certain games, it's hard to do fully uncut videos because that people want, but I think that quiet time of one of those types of games is what people do want and want it to be completely uncut. But I don't know. We'll see. The goal of this stream, how much is it? $50? The goal of the stream is $5. $5. Well, fuck, it's actually it'd have to be plus minus the tax, so like 7. That'll be the goal, or I'm gonna eat my dog. If we can get to 10, I'll put my dog on the stream. If not, I eat him. I'm just kidding. He'd be an expensive meal, but it is what it is. We'll get there at some point. I've had actually like a decent time coming back to YouTube. I know I like the last like 2 to 3 weeks I think have been a very quiet point with a lot of stuff because of Golden Week. And then like the two last fairy tale chapters, I feel like the last two fairy tale chapters should have been like one extensive chapter. I feel like in a normal, like if it wasn't if it wasn't bi-weekly and done done in this different style, like it was just straight out of the magazine like it used to be, I think this would have been one chapter. I think that just the narration should have been way shorter, and you could have had all the fights and stuff into one chapter and then move forward. I think it was just because it was almost Golden Week and it was an easy part to extend, and uh the whole recap, the recap I think is nice because it tells that we're like at a next step of the story. But I don't know, because the all the stuff that happened between Fairy Tale's group in the first chapter, kind of like Fire and Flames attacked, and then Fairy Tale had like a nice kind of retaliation moment, and then the next chapter, Fairy Tale people did stuff, and then the Fire and Flames members had a retaliation moment. So I think that it was way more, it was way more of really, I think, of what if it was normal weekly, what would they would normally do to extend stuff out is you would just have fluff in the chapter. You would have panels and content where it's just like characters aren't doing anything, like it randomly goes over and we see what Happy's doing, and Happy's doing nothing, but it's something for like just a moment, just to take up like 2 pages or whatnot. With this, I think it was just extended out to give us the fact that, okay, we're about to go into Golden Week. After we get back, we're going to be seeing these other fights and seeing what's going on with all these other bits. Because we haven't seen anything going on with Bestia. We haven't seen anything going on with not Doggermag, with Ignia. And we have Miss Fortune going after him. So there's a whole extra bit of going, oh yeah, this other character is now proceeding there. So if there's going to be a follow-up, I would assume on another plot point going into that plot point, that we would have just a moment of, oh, what is this? Just, it would make sense. So, but at the same time, you always have to look at when multiple events are happening at the same time. Logically, you would go in order of hype momentum and story value. Can you guys hear my dog barking in the background? You might be able to hear it a little bit. He's just mad. I gotta let him bark it out, though. He's upset that I'm hanging out with just one of my dogs. Sometimes he gets a time by himself all the time, but my other dog bullies him, so I end up, sometimes I gotta just hang out with him by himself. You want to talk in DMs? Okay, listen, if you want to, we'll talk in DMs. If you want to fund the game, I promise you, I will give you 3 hours, 2 hours. Let's go 2 to 3 hours every day of Oblivion content. It would be really easy. What's going on, Tyron? Feeling good today? Yeah, we're doing a test stream. We're doing a late night test stream, just kind of getting stuff set up. I'm happy that my audio is going well. My video quality is a little choppy. I gotta look into that. We were just talking in general about stuff with chapters, talking about just what's going on with Fairy Tale. I need some Black Clover people to come in here randomly, because I want to talk about what's been going on in the current chapters and talk about Lucius. I'm a little upset with Lucius because I don't really like his plan. I'm not a big fan of his plan right now when it comes to, like, I don't really like how it's just generally set up. We'll figure that out a little bit. And then we were talking about potentially doing we'll do some stream fundraisers to try and get me the new Oblivion. But I would want a little bit over it, because that way I can fund I gotta get probably like, I would need it to get to where it just kind of goes over my YouTube amount. So I would probably need to get, like, I don't know. I think my last amount was actually really short, because I only just came back. So maybe like probably less than $100 total stream. Maybe we'll do something at some point. We'll do that. We'll play like the Fairy Tale game on Steam or something, or we'll just do a length one. I have I mean, I work tomorrow. I don't work later in the week. I'd be able to literally, if we wanted to, just run it all day today. Jack on Twitter. We'll get Jack in here. I don't mind anyone coming in. Like, I would love to kind of just have like a back and forth with the Black Clover person right now, because I'm so indifferent. I like Lucius, but he keeps doing stuff that I'm just not a big like. I'm such up and down on. I don't like Buzzard. He's annoying. But like Lucius, like his whole thing is he now has these towers that he's, you know, sorry if anybody's actually I'll wait a second. If anybody in here is a fan of Black Clover and isn't caught up, tell me and I won't say any spoilers. And if anybody randomly watches this later, just so you know, I'll mention spoilers in like the next minute or so. I'll go. Let me shill the idea a little bit more on Oblivion, and then we'll get to talking about Black Clover. I think one of the things I would do, I would have to establish my character at the start of what his personality would be like, and what, like, I would have to keep in character and obey the rules. And I think one of the things I always thought would be really funny to do is to have kind of like a character like Guts, where he looks super badass, like just general badass, like one of those guys where you have, you know, it's a verse where it's like characters generally look cool, so you just over throttle a guy. Like he's wearing like, you know, a cool cloak, and he's got an overly sized sword. Maybe he's got like some form of magic item that's very clearly, you know, it's glowing. And, you know, he's got like, he's, you know, multi-class and a wizard. It's just that, you know, one of those hits multiple marks characters. And I think it would be really cool to have something like that. And then, but in character, he relatively never breaks the law. He's like a complete and total straight arrow. It's like you have Batman, but he has, at the end of the day, he has that like Boy Scout Superman mentality where he's just, you know, he fights a guy, but at the same time, he like, what is it when Ichigo calls the ambulances for people, and he beats those guys up, and he calls an ambulance for them right before, and it's like that, where it's just, you have a nice heart at the end of the day, but you're gonna beat the shit out of some guys. I think that would be really funny. Or caught up. Yeah, I think that the whole setup with Lucius, it's like he has his whole power drawing from each of the towers. And then he lets Asta get away. He's going to fight Yuno. What's stopping Asta from just getting healed and then just going and destroying the towers and completely cutting off Lucius's connection? And maybe in the next couple chapters he'll have all of the paladins go and guard some of these towers. But it's like, at the same time, it's like, is his whole setup really just 3 towers? I don't think there was a number for how many there was. I think there was a seemingly more than 3, I would assume. Let me pull the chapter up really fast, just because I want to see what was presented. Because I know in the verse itself, it's not like we have a ton of like, oh yeah, every town has a Grimoire Tower or something like that. Like, oh, there's hundreds of Grimoire Towers all over the place. I don't think there was ever a statement like that. I think Grimoire Towers, as far as I remember, were just sometimes we would go places and there was a Grimoire Tower, or like clearly there was never a definitive amount, but there was clearly not 1 or like 2. There was clearly a decent amount. Okay, at least from what I'm seeing in this panel, let me look at this one. We're seeing probably like, you know, on one side, probably like 8 or 9, 10. So maybe there's like, I'm just gonna guess like somewhere between 30 to 40, maybe like 30 to 40 or something on a good end. Maybe there's like really high end, like double that, you get maybe like 60 to 70. I don't know. I don't think there's that many. But either way, you say maybe like 20, 30, maybe 40 of these towers. I don't think it'd be really hard for us to destroy multiple of these towers. I don't know, because it's the fact that like Lucius, I'm sure he's got something hopefully planned, but like it would make sense why Asta, like maybe he would go and like back up to help Yuno, but I don't know what's stopping him from just like Mimosa going to heal him. And a thing that I think Tabata messed up in doing is he has too many options of recovery for characters, because it's like you could have Charmy come in. Charmy gives the cookies that replenish mana and stamina and gives it to Mimosa. Mimosa uses ultimate magic, fully heals Asta. Asta and Libe go back and help, but instead he goes and destroys a bunch of the towers. There's too many ways that he can get fixed, and I think that was one of the things in the verse that he always really hurt, because it's leaving certain things unnumbered. Because in my opinion, I think that what really could have helped the Clover King, you know, like the whole arc in general. I'm not saying like who has to die or whatever. Is you have like a moment like when Gaja was healed. Is like, oh, Mimosa can only use this healing ability once a day. So it's like, okay, you use that, you save these characters, but now she can't use this. So all other environments, when it's like, okay, you have something like Twilight of Valhalla or Vanessa with Rouge, is you have these support abilities that keep characters from dying, but as you get those picked away, you know, if you pay attention to the series, that they run out of options and run out of layers of cover and protection. And that's when things start to get dangerous. And because that's like the value of really of having all these characters in the verse, is when you pay attention as to what their value they bring in, and once you take that out, what that means from what's going on moving forward. And that's what's important for one of these big group fights and what it was for Lucifaro. But we didn't have that, so like Mimosa could just heal definitely. Obviously it's not like she full healed Asta, that's not what I'm saying, but it's like it didn't seem like there was ever a time where she couldn't just heal or do, you know, the same things. They didn't have that layer of, oh well, character X has already used this thing, it doesn't matter, you can't bring that up. Character Y, oh yeah, their trump card has already been used. And that's also a reason why it's good to have characters that have these, you know, one-time really good abilities, because it gives them a thing that even if they're not going to be in the foremost level of input in what's going on, they're going to have that optional thing that they could bring to the table. Soul Isn't Dead Yet is beyond me. I think it's really funny that Neverland is down and that he's like, oh yeah, you know, they're gonna be fine. But the angels, is it just guardian angels or angels? They're stronger now than where they were before, and the Clover Kingdom guys are weaker. Like, they're out of energy in comparison, like at least lower. So I don't know how they're gonna last. I don't really know what's gonna go on with them, but we'll see. I don't think it's gonna be that much of danger. I think their fight's gonna be pretty short. There's not a lot of characters that could show up and suddenly aid them. Like, you can be like, yeah, the Ryuzen 7, Mars and Ladro show up, but like the Witch Queen is like all withered and unable to fight, and all of the paladins are the paladins are weakened. So what exactly is the plan? Sorry, not the paladins weakened. Sorry, they fought the weaker variants of the paladins. Now they're much stronger. So are the characters getting, like, I don't think that we're gonna get really fights set up on anything on those ones. I would be really surprised if we go back and we have a focused fight for any of the evolved members of the paladins. Mars is not, man. The thing is, if Mars comes in, it will 100% only be as a, you know, oh, I've arrived and I was in this one part where I blocked one thing, and just remember my character, Asta, go in. That'll be like his only thing that he does. It's very unfortunate because I mentioned that, like, one of the things about this arc that I'm not a big fan of is the fact that the characters, like, everybody is really just a you know, a brainwashed callback to a different character for the most part. And I don't think it's done in a way that you have enough of a widespread reasoning from, like, the main cast, because relatively, if the enemies don't have their own character they're bringing to the table, it's just what's reflected from what you're getting progressively out of the main cast members. But it was so short of really what you were getting, just a couple things for each of these fights. Like, there should have been a couple more paladins, and then brought in a couple of these other characters that logically could have been after X, Y, or Z strengthening levels over the course of the verse and the years. 1v1 to one of these characters, and Mars should be there. It's weird that Tabata just seems to refuse to do anything and bring him back, because there's a couple, like, it's like with Rills was hyped up, but he just never followed up on any form of his hype, and he just kind of fumbled. He's a really good support character. I think he's a valuable support character, but in terms of actual direct combat, he just seemed to really fall off from what he was at least introduced as. But it, you know, I don't know. I would say that since Josuke was hell bent on it back in the day. Oh, for Mars coming back. That's probably why he decided that he wasn't going to do videos on Black Clover anymore, is the fact that Mars never came back. It's a shame that Mars never did come back, because again, his character had every reason to. Like, he was one of those characters, he was like Yuno and Asta, but also he was modified on, so it's like he's this character that had, naturally was very capable, naturally had just talent and capabilities that were, that the average person didn't, natural grasp into magic, but also he had these crude experiments done to him that made him naturally further strong, more powerful, and that gave him, again, this odd position where he had this very weird offensive defensive magic with mineral magic, but also with having fire, but primarily like healing and support based fire. He had a very unnatural position in the verse where he had almost every category of types of magic for like combat style wrapped into one over the cover of two different magics, and one was a very standard magic, just elemental magic. We know Black Clover is pretty straightforward. It's just a lot of people in the verse have it, but mineral magic, so there's something stranger. But his fire magic that he had a lot of really good support spells in it that just made it so that, complemented his diamond magic so well, and made him, just catapult where he was at, to where he was, he should be well captain level by now, like well higher up. I would be surprised if he would be like a contender to where he could, not like, oh yeah, he could push to like extreme levels, but like actually be somebody that could keep up with him and fight him to where he actually had to put in some effort to win, to where he should be able to be here and be a primary fighter in what's going on. And it's a shame that we're never going to see that with him. I really don't like, I would be shocked, probably more than anything, if Tabata like decided to bring back Mars and give Mars a real fighting chapter. Because it would just be so extra. It would just be such a nice little random thing at the end. Because everything else, I think, has been for the most part addressed, but I don't know. Maybe he will. Maybe Tabata will be like, I want to have one chapter each fights, like one maybe big mega fight against all of them, and Mars will show up to fight this weird monster Morris, and we'll get him just actually just present in the battle. But who knows? What else does anybody else have any like general, like what exactly has everyone been reading and like what they've been going on that they've had any kind of thoughts on too? Because I know obviously 100 Years Quest, I think the last two chapters have been frustrating because they're like, again, it should have been one chapter, but like there hasn't been a lot of stuff going on in terms of like overall events, because we have a lot of events going on, but it was just like purely focused on that group fight for the most part, as not a lot of points like moving forward of all the stuff like, Bestia and Ferris, what's going on with Ignia, what's going on with all of the Sace fights, except for obviously now we have Richard and Gaia. I'm a little sad on that. It looks like he was countered though. I really want to get an explanation of what his black magic is, because it seems like he goes kind of like how Hot Eye makes the ground soft, but he makes the ground more like, he puts power into it and makes it explode. Maybe kind of like how the Great Treyarch works, where he does it through like the magic in the fruits and in the seeds. So maybe he does it like that, or he puts black magic in the ground and then explodes it up. I don't know. I think we'll get additional character in Ignia's arcs besides the main characters. Do you mean out of the main? Do you think out of like for the protagonists, or do you think it would just more characters from like not Sabretooth, Diablos and Fire and Flame and the Erasion Sex? Because I think for one, the Erasion Sex, I'm curious is like if any of them are gonna lose, because one thing about them, except for Zero, they're easily replaceable, and I can easily see some characters getting split off and having to be replaced with like a higher end version. Have you checked out Mishima's other works, Dead Rock and Farmagia? Well, I think he only did the artwork for Farmagia. I haven't really seen anything for it. I do read Dead Rock though. I've read relatively all of his works. Been mostly manhwa for me and manhwa for I'm in my own realm. So I haven't really found any manhwa I've ever really liked. I'm not a huge fan personally. I would have to like, maybe if I would do it and read it as like an extra thing. We'll see. I would love to have a lot of like just general small extra content I do, because that's gonna be one of the things I plan on doing. Like I want to have like a basic membership tier, and I got to get back to that at some point where it's just like, you know, $1 or $2, and it just has again basic. Oh yeah, a little bit of extra entertainment. It's like playing Oblivion every day for, you know, an hour or two. We're talking about just some other thing, another series if people want me to review it, because I used to do that for a while, as I would review things at request, and I wouldn't mind doing that again, but we'll see if I don't know if anyone's interested in that, because I feel like I'm mostly like I do like, you know, Magic Adventure series when it comes to doing reviews. I do need to get caught up reviewing Galaxias as well. I think that series is pretty sick. Other what do you mean? Let me see. Oh, other legal guilds. I mean, probably Sabretooth if Sabretooth members come back. I don't imagine we're gonna get, you know, people from Quattro Cerberus or anything, because Sabretooth's the only one that has a couple characters that are relatively, you know, would be like capable of doing anything. Because you have Sting and Rogue. There's always the possibility that that Yukino could do something to help Lucy with just, you know, celestial spirit stuff. I would love for Rufus to get a role of some kind, but I feel like that is just wishful thinking. And then, you know, Minerva. Minerva, though, is one of those characters where she has a lot of just general capability and raw potential. And it just is going to entirely be like if Mishima decides to let her character do so. She's kind of like, obviously in a different guild, but kind of like Kana, Midnight, actually, because Midnight's a really good example of somebody right now who just seems to be, you know, like you have characters that are talent, and Midnight seems to be one of those characters that it has excessive levels of like raw talent and capabilities. But he at least to me, he seems to have that Frieza thing where he is mostly just, again, raw talent capabilities, and he hasn't trained or done a lot of fighting. Because once we see him generally in a lot of fights, it doesn't look like he's ever ready to take a lot of hits, because of like his illusions and just having stuff where he like moves stuff around him with like just reflecting magic and whatnot and types of attacks. I like, it makes sense that he doesn't take a lot of hits, but I think when you get to the higher levels of fighting, like some of the things in Fairy Tail you need to have is, one, you need to have some form of really crazy broken trump card ability, at least one, and you have to be able to do, even if you aren't a full like hybrid, now I'm a combat mage, you need to be like Lucy at the very least, where you can fight close range and you can take hits. I think if you're someone like Nineheart, where you just ride being like a really powerful distance fighter and you know, summoner and whatnot at high level, the second you get somebody in your range and you get into this you know, you start to take damage, you can just be taken out, because being a glass cannon can only get you so far. If you run into somebody that's just going to get around whatever your tricks are, and then you're done. I didn't get Oblivion. Wait, I would like to be like, I can get you Oblivion and you read 50 chapters of manhwa. Listen, you get me Oblivion, man, and I will read whatever manhwa you want. I will read the whole manhwa for Oblivion, I promise you. I will read the whole thing. I will do a free read. I would have to depend. Maybe I'll do it like a stream, or I don't know if it'd be as interesting if I did it as a. Well, I guess I would just leave it up to you if you wanted me to do it to as a. I read chapters on stream, or I just do reviews and then I read like 20 chapters each, and then I, you know, give a response as to it. I think that would probably be more interesting, because I like to think about stuff over time. It's like, if I didn't think about stuff over time, I wouldn't have come back to that random old, you know, Four Horsemen wizard theory that I had. I want to say initially in like 2013, 2014. I had way back in the day. Because there's a couple of the theories that just, like, you know, were super ancient. Like the original What Was Acnologia, and when it was named was first dropped, and we didn't know what he was. You're writing your own story. You don't have any experience from trying to have fun with it. Oh, good luck to you, man. Did you already find like what topic, like what genre and stuff you're gonna do? Listen, man, I'll tell you. You gift it to me, I'll read as much as you need me to. Because I mean, like 50 chapters, I can read. I would have to get a little more than that, because like 50 chapters, I could read that relatively in like a few days, like as a side thing. But it would just depend. But listen, man, you donate me the game, I promise you, I'll read whatever manga you want, unless it's unless it's something that's gonna get me in trouble. I know there are some out there that are very sus. But we'll see. I think it'd be fun. You're trying for fun. Yeah, so that's the thing with me. So I have the same way. I think relatively every single nerd has their own fantasy idea of like, what would their story be if they ever did one. And it's like, to me, I realized like one day I could be like, you know what, fuck it, I could write my story and put it out there and see if people like it or not. But even if you don't write your story and you just think about it, I think it's fun for the standpoint of it gives you something to do mentally and it helps pass the time. And it's just self-entertainment. Because I think that once you start losing self-entertainment and you start losing ways to like keep yourself entertained mentally, that's when you start to get boring. You start running on autopilot. I remember like back when I was in the Navy, it's like you would want to sometimes you just be somewhere bored, nothing happens for like 4 to 6 hours, and you have to just keep yourself mentally entertained so you don't just space out. You think Team Natsu would be affected by the dragon magic turning humans into dragons? I don't think Natsu and Wendy would, because I think it would be a different style of magic that would be counterproductive to Dragon Slayer magic. I think it'd be really interesting if it did, but I don't know. It'd be weird for Gray, Wendy, or not Gray, Wendy, Gray, Lucy, and Urza. I think if anybody, well, no, because we already had the Exceed can't be affected by it. Damn it, I was gonna say it'd be really funny if the Exceed did. I think that would be a really funny plot twist, but now we can't have it. It was already turned away. Or the 21st will be in touch. I'll pick from the list. All right, man. I like I said, I'll 100% read it. I would love to. Plus, I would love to have something just to spend my time on playing, and and I can turn it into content. And yes, I actually have Goten and Trunks fanfic and 2 other stories I'm currently working on. What do you go fight? Well, hang on. Is yours into the main continuity, or do you go into the expansive continuity? I am one of probably, like, I know it's probably not as popular. I'm a big fan of the ideas that are put into the Dragon Ball, what is it? The Heroes or Superheroes series? No, Superheroes the movie. It was Super Dragon Ball Heroes, the game. I really like a lot of the ideas that were presented in that, and I wish they would incorporate that into the canon, because I think a lot of them look really fun and have a very Dragon Ball soul to them. And it's like, I think the biggest thing for me, it's like you compare the prison where Moro was in the manga, it's just a big space station. It just feels like it's just a space prison. Whereas what is it in Super Dragon Ball Heroes? It's like a bunch of planets chained together with like a giant lock on it the size of a planet. It feels very Dragon Ball, and that's what I liked about it. I like when it has like a little bit of weird heart that kind of just feels like it's in the same verse rather than just, oh yeah, we have a space prison. And I was like, well, that's a little lame. I read has mostly read as a system like soul leveling, action adventure RPG elements. I only read a slice of harem. Oh, yeah, man. Whatever you think would be more entertaining. And then if you want to do reviews on it or do a like live stream, I'm aiming for it. I used to do it before. I would have loved to go back and do that, because I don't find a lot of I haven't found a lot of series that I've been super into lately. Like a lot of the new shonen series I actually have been really enjoying. A lot of the new stuff from Jump, and then you got like Galaxias and Gachikuta. I'm a couple chapters behind on Gachikuta though, but Galaxias has been really good. I've loved it. I think that Narade is a really funny character in terms of just him. He's just right now he's just a muscle head. I like him early on a lot, of him just being able to brute force, just mow through stuff like a fucking tank. It's like it's funny because it's like he reminds me of early Natsu, but he has like this a little bit more naive nature to him. but he has the same like locked in, ready to fight. But instead of a fire dragon, he's just like a raw. Well, what did they call him? A wave dragon, but he's just in style is just raw brute force. Like he has like one thing that's like different from Natsu is he has this. Narade has this thick neck. He just is this brick wall in the making. You know, when he gets older, he's just going to be a complete and total like side of a building coming at people. All right, man. If you want to do that, I'm game for it. You can send me the money. I will get it, and I will play for the people. It'll be interesting because it'll be my first time doing it. Sure, I'll do the live reaction. I'll read through it. I'll read through the story. I'll set a day every once, like every other day or like once a week. We'll read through a couple chapters. Elisary and the what is this? Oh, Allegory and the Tartarus arc. Elisary sacrifice, of course, also so emotional. That was one of my favorite parts. The Tartarus arc is one of my favorites too because when you think about it, the Tartarus as a guild is one of the most effective villain groups in Shonen because of how much reach they got. Like there was never a time where one of them went in like their interaction didn't lead to a lasting like long-term effect in the verse necessarily. Because everything like with you had like keys, everything with Silver, Jackal killing the council, you have stuff like Kyoka and all stuff with torturing Urza. You just have a lot of stuff that just ultimately like gave characters really memorable moments, and on top of that, they themselves did a lot to affect characters in the verse, which to me I think makes them again a very successful villain group because it's not like the villains are like, oh yeah, they're gonna go into how many characters they kill off or how many people they're gonna just completely render unable to ever fight against. It's more of like, what is their impact? Do they affect the characters in a way that is interesting to see them react to in the story or not? But yeah, I always thought that was a good time. I always thought it was just a really interesting span of chapters and episodes. It was a fun time too to read it because that was like I think just right after I got out of boot camp. The whole fight with like Mardgeir and the Celestial Spirit King and everything was happening. I thought that was a great time. That was really fun because the Tartarus it was so fun with her like Mishima at the time when he's just it was dropping going into like the Sun Village and everything like the 3 chapter weeks. I thought that was so hype. I think that we've missed out a little bit on that with Eden Zero. I wish Eden Zero was a little different. I feel like the space, like the sci-fi theory, is just harder to sell to people. But also because of like I think that the anime was required more in the anime. JC Staff, I don't know. I think we need to find a different studio or they need to kick up their game. But I do think JC Staff really hurt the manga and it wasn't able to do as well because of that. But I'm really hoping that Mishima, once he's done with Dead Rock, can kind of like really direct at what his plans are, because I think that he's gonna do series like in smaller terms but do some games and be more kind of directly there with games. But I'm really hoping that he always has like a manga at least going on, because we know that he has like he's talked about like a next gen series with Fairy Tail, but he hasn't confirmed it. It just depends on what he wants to do and what the setup is. That's one of the reasons I think that the whole like Ignia bringing dragons back into the world, I think that's gonna be fully successful because it would set up a next gen with like a story that would make sense for events to still be going. Like if there's all these dragons back in the world, Natsu's not going to be like Natsu and any of the Dragon Slayers that are the protagonists are not going to be, especially like Diablos 2 after they've made friends with Fairy Tail and stuff. They're not going to just hunt down any dragons that exist. They're like most of the people that would be able to fight these dragons are going to pretty much just be fighting dragons that are problematic. But it also makes sense as like anytime that a dragon is like a problem, they would have to call specific characters, which would be any of these Dragon Slayers. So we'll see. That's gonna probably not be for like a couple of years. Maybe Mishima will bring it up during like a podcast or something at some point soon. Someone will ask him because he mentioned it before that he wouldn't mind doing a next gen series, but we know that Mishima doesn't just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have it, I'm gonna throw it to this other guy and then he can figure it out. Like he already had ideas. he already had stuff going on and like went and expanded upon it before we got to 100 Years Quest. So it didn't feel where it was just stuff slapped onto it for the sake of slapping onto it. Because that's one of the things I always thought about the Daphne arc that felt weird, is it felt like one of those anime arcs where they just add stuff onto it for the sake of adding stuff onto it, where it ultimately doesn't feel like it makes sense for the verse. Because you can't just have a dragon, like random dragon, free roaming, kind of flying around, like, aware of Acnologia, because Acnologia would just hunt it down and kill it. So it's like, how exactly is that going to work for it? I don't know. I don't. That's because that's to me where when you have additional content, whether it's like anime additional, you have something where it's like, oh, we want to do a novel spinoff, or something where it's just outright a sequel. It's only a problem to me if it's done in a way that doesn't respect the existence of the verse, and it expands in a way that isn't logical. What's up, Strange Brew? How you doing today? We were just talking about we're talking about what's going on in 100 Years Quest. We're talking about stuff going on in Black Clover, a lot of the newer manga, funding a Oblivion playthrough. People want to donate to that. We're gonna play Oblivion, and I'm just gonna play it essentially like 2 or 3 hours every day, just post it every day. We're planning on doing it, maybe like a fundraiser for that. Rave Master needs a remake. I would love a Rave Master remake. I think instead of a remake, we could have a game. I think Rave Master could make for a really good game. Because one thing with Eden Zero, I think it's a little harder to do a game with powers like Shiki's. Like in terms of probably what appeals to like the general audience, it's got neat stuff, but it's harder to. I feel like it's harder to get people into like a weird style of you know, all the different movement and whatnot in that game, where it's like you could do Rave Master and just have essentially a Elden Ring-esque adventure. It doesn't have to be to that extent, but you have, you know, pick a character. You have Haru, and he's going out looking for the Rave Stones, and you have just the world to explore. Women Galaxies didn't get axed. No, it got moved to bi-weekly. The guy, I can't remember if it was just for his health or if it was just for the sake of it, but they moved it to bi-weekly, so it just comes every 2 weeks. Did you like Fairy Tail 2 game? I haven't played it yet. I had a lot of stuff going on, and then what else was I doing? Oh, that's because I got addicted to playing Digimon. Like, I played a little bit of Path of Exile. Maybe we'll do that too. Because I was thinking about replaying the first game, and maybe I'll replay the first game and do another stream, and we'll fundraise playing the second one. Because I would love to play it, but again, it's just like I'm trying not to spend any money on games right now. Especially because I have a couple games that I haven't finished. It's like if I was going to get anything else, I would have to put the time aside, and then, you know, maybe do something for like a stream to build up for it. Entertain my way into getting it as best as possible. Since main squad is dealing with Fire and Flames, do you think we'll save the Erasion Seis? I don't really see what they're gonna do. Maybe Jalal will show up. There's a couple characters that could fight Zero. I don't think Midnight is going to be, like, Natsu and Gray could both be really good contenders. Jalal is another one, because obviously Jalal is the one that showed up and beat the Erasion Seis before. Cobra is another one, because Cobra is actually the one that killed Brain. But I just don't really see what exactly otherwise is, like, for sure where he's going to go and what his character is going to be at. I just know there has to be a reason for Zero to be back, other than just, oh yeah, we have Zero back. But I don't know. They're gonna have to really get pulled out though, because it doesn't look like it's good for any of them. The only one that I really saw possible in terms of winning was Cobra, but it doesn't, like, Cobra is getting countered, and then everybody else, it just doesn't look good for them. Everybody else seems like they're just gonna lose. This is not a fight that is good for them, because with the Seis, I think with the Seis, it only makes sense to me that over this last year, none of them have probably been training. None of them have probably been training. They all got their pardon from Hisui, so they've probably all just been chilling and living life and enjoying not being criminals that have to hide. So it makes sense to me that a lot of them are not very strong in terms of where they should be at in comparison to, you know, everybody else that where they were at during Alvarez. because it's not like they were, you know, anyone from that group could have just went and like fought one of the Spriggan 1v1, but they have multiple members where if you told me that like a year after, if they trained really hard and put an effort and involved their magic, that they would be in the Spriggan tier with people like Midnight, Cobra, maybe Merity and stuff. But like there's it's I think naturally they wouldn't really be fighting or doing training or doing anything outside of just maybe some work for the sake of getting money and doing life, because they've been on the run for so long and they've never really experienced a quiet kind of calm life. It makes sense that there's, you know, logically would be a chunk behind. So they're gonna need someone to save them. I don't know. Maybe the Erasion Sex won't just execute them. They don't seem like they're psychopaths, except for Damon. She seems to be fine with melting people, as she says. It does. I don't know if the other people are just gonna go for the kill, but they're gonna have to have someone get them out of there. Because the only one I really saw getting a win was Cobra, and Cobra is getting countered, and he's having a bad time. I really gotta get a haircut too. My hair keeps getting in my face. Since I got here probably already over this, but how do you feel about Yuno getting the anti-magic buff? I was super hyped since we got the Grimoire lore. I thought the Grimoire lore was cool. I feel like there's still stuff we weren't told. Like, obviously, like, did the Grimoire Towers always exist? Who made the Grimoire Towers? Like again, it's like, do they predate civilization? Like, did humans decide to build their cities around these places and stuff? I don't know, because it's cool to get the lore, but I feel like it's lore that hasn't, like, we were just getting explanation for it, and we didn't have events that kind of built up for the sake of getting it to where it was like expansion, and then now we got the reveal where it's like this was just kind of like good reveal, which again, it's a good reveal. It's not like it was bad or anything. I thought it was a good addition, but at the same time, I'm not a huge fan of the anti-magic buff. I've shared my opinion of the whole like being able to share anti-magic powers before. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like that Yuno seems to only be using it on his star magic. I think that's pretty cool. It just depends on how it's going to be utilized to me. I'm more concerned with the fact that Lucius let Asta get away, because if he gets healed, he can't just go destroy the Grimoire Tower, so I don't really know what's happening with that. Damon could melt me. Oh man, I mean, if that's what you're looking for, you got to be careful, because you don't know what her Aetherius form looks like. You have no idea what her Aetherius form looks like. I might trim my beard after this. I don't think I've let my hair get this long in a long time, so I'm gonna have to get my hair cut soon. It's starting to get hot out, so I don't think I want to keep it down for this much longer. We'll see. At least my beard. Problem is, it's like I don't wear short sleeves a lot of the time, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to switch either to thin, long sleeves or stop wearing hoodies for a bit. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Yuno Grimoire stuff, or sorry, the Yuno Grimoire stuff, the Yuno anti-magic stuff is a little. I don't know. I'm not mad about it, but I was not hyped about it. My only thing, honestly, is like I have actually not read World Trigger. I never got into it. My only thing with Yuno is like I wish he didn't have to use the Dweller, because it's such a small sword in comparison to his sword, and so like it just looks weird. It looks weird that he has this really tiny blade and that his sword is this really thin, elegant long sword. You know what's another thing that actually I want to complain about is, one, I'm mad that William did something when I thought it was Patri in at the beginning of the chapter where it showed them defeating one of the Lucius clones. I'm mad that we didn't see him at least use that sword that he had, because I thought the sword design was cool, where it was for the most part pretty normal for a like long sword, kind of like Yuno's, but it has this cool gnarled and twisted wooden handle. I was pretty pissed off. I thought that was a really cool thing to have, just as terms of like a design, and we didn't get to see him use it or what it does. It's like, you know, Yami got the cool Mistletoe sword or whatever it was called, and then just like he got that what is a one-time thing, and then got his normal sword again. Because Yami, let me pull up the chapter. Let me go back to the Yami fight. Actually, Yami doesn't use that anymore. He used his regular sword in the fight with Morgan, right? I don't think he still has that that sword he got from William. If I'm wrong about that, I'm wrong about that. I'm pretty sure that I'm not wrong about that. Let me see. I'm trying to see where that fight was. Okay. I pulled up just trying to remember where stuff was, and I went into the Morris chapter, so I know I'm not far off. Because the Morgan fight was the last one. I was not a big fan of the Aesir or the Morris fight. I thought the Morris fight was really like meh. I really didn't think it was interesting. At least the Aesir fight, Noelle got some character development progression. I thought the Morgan fight was good. Like, the art was really good. The art, like, had some really cool panels. The stuff with Noct, like, even though Noct shafted Zora for his character to exist, Noct is probably the best written character in the verse. It could have been Patri, but unfortunately Patri got shafted as a character and then ended up getting sidelined. But it is what it is. Let me see. Where's Yami at? I don't think Yami's using his cool wooden sword. He should have gotten that permanently, and it should have been like, oh, it regrows when damaged. You just put magic into it, and that way he could have never had a broken sword again. But I think he's just using a regular sword again. Really downgraded. I don't like when Tabata does stuff like that, where it just seems like stuff that shouldn't be temporary but ends up just not sticking is kind of like where I get upset with. Or things where was it's like I don't like when power-ups just become permanent, but like certain things should be permanent. And it was, I don't know, I feel like to help redeem William, I think it should have been somehow where it like really did some form of drawback for William to give Yami this really cool sword. Like Yami should have lived in the last arc, in the Spade arc, but I still think William should have died. And it would have been a really cool thing for like redemption if William in his sacrifice gave Yami this sword, and Yami had this cool sword that he didn't have to worry about breaking ever. And at the same time, as long as he had it, it was like a reminder to William and for William's redemption. But no, we couldn't have had that. We couldn't have had like a cool way for William to redeem himself. No, we have to have this damn treasonous piece of shit walking around the kingdom still, probably gonna die in the kingdom normally, even after all his treason and his crimes. Yeah, Yami, I think Yami just uses a regular sword. I don't think he uses that cool wooden sword. I think the sword was as cool a spell. It's like, yeah, I it's annoying because William is much better as a support, and it's really cool to think it's like his final spell. He forces out this really cool OP sword. Because one thing, I thought it made sense that Yami got this other sword. Because if you think about it, if he has a way to combine World Tree magic and dark magic with that sword, he could do something like, instead, like upgrade his Dimension Slash to do a like Underworld cut where he temporarily cuts open the portal to the Underworld and he could send somebody there or something. Some like cool move like that, where, you know, imagine he cuts it open and like all these demons grab his opponent, and then he gets pulled in, and Yami just has this sick way to get rid of his opponents like that. I think that would have been badass, but no, we didn't get that. We just had him go back to regular sword, and William just went to being useless. Because it's like, what was the point of giving him the sword in the first place? It's like Tabata with ultimate magic. What was the point of giving them ultimate magic in the first place? Yeah, I don't like when stuff like that happens, when characters get something temporarily that should have been permanent. Because again, it's the point with the sword. What was the point of it? Was it just to give Yami a sword so Asta didn't have his sword, but then he gets a regular sword again off screen? I think that's really just kind of eh. I'm not a fan of that personally. And like, I can chalk, like, one thing for me, I've thought about a lot of stuff when it comes to Black Clover, and it's like, there's stuff I can chalk up to the fact that this is Tabata's first successful series. I'm really hoping that after this is all over, he either does another series, sticks to being like either goes bi-weekly or monthly, for one, and then either does like another series, which I think would be fine, but I would really prefer stay in the Black Clover universe, have another main character, and keep Asta as a character, but it's like stuff is going on that Asta's busy, and like you'd have to just kind of like have it like a Naruto or a Boruto setup, but just have it from like a character that is unrelated to Asta but looks up to Asta, and then eventually that way you bring characters in to relate. It's like, I gotta do a video on it soon, But if we ever get that next generation series for Fairy Tail, I think that none of the main cast members' children should be the main character. I think if we ever get a next generation series, whoever is the main character of the next gen should be a brand new character that is joining the guild that the other characters don't know about. Because I think what makes sense is you had all these other characters that are, children of the previous generation, and they all relatively know each other. But this new character that comes in is a complete and total, like, nobody knows them. It'd be like if you saw Natsu join at a younger age, maybe at like 13, 14 or something, and we see the story begin from there, where we don't know anything about him, and you kind of just open and open background and learn stuff of what's happened over the time skip from interacting with these characters, and then you eventually learn of like the main character and like what exactly is going on with them. Because I think that would be better than just like, Lucy and Natsu's daughter is the main character, Urza's kid's the main character, Gray's kid's the main character. I think it'd be better if they became different characters, or they became like main cast, supporting cast members, and we had a character that was just a complete total mystery that none of them knew, so we can see how the going through the process of the guild, like welcoming a new character. Maybe that could have been a way for him to get Devil Mana by channeling the World Tree magic. Yeah, there's just like there's stuff that could have been come out of that, and it's like I think Tabata does a lot of stuff too fast. Like he introduces like types of magic buffs and then doesn't really like let them sit before he introduces another one. Like you have like runes, then you have Mana Zone, Mana Method, True Mana, then you have Curse Magic, or not True Mana, True Magic, Curse Magic. You also have the devil versions of magic. Now you have Saint Magic. It just seems like he introduces stuff that should be over a longer span, or like stuff should have just been mentioned at different points in the story. Because I don't think he lets stuff get expanded upon enough before he introduces another one. It's like Ultimate Magic is something that should have be at this point, literally near the end of the story. Ultimate Magic should have been something that we saw a lot of, and like once it was really introduced and expanded upon. But it just seems like he kept just introducing other stuff and really not staying on what we should have had. Because I just don't get like the point of why do characters go learn Ultimate Magic if it seems like none of them are going to use it. I don't know. I don't like it. Like these other parts of the world of Tabata as a monthly series of Black Clover. So that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought we were going to have some form of like this arc, like going into the later portion, we were going to see more of the world, or like Asta was going to have to like come back after a given period of time. But then we got right into Judgment Day, and it was just like, damn, we're moving pretty quick. I thought we were going to maybe see Asta has to like come back and like he has to get there on foot, and he can't like. I think it'd be cool if Asta had to like go through some long journey, and it was just seeing different parts of the world, and Asta like learn like fighting different swords people while other characters are getting ready for the war. There should have been like a really fun build up, I think. And that's one of the things I think that is kind of left out, but I think that was just because we got rushed a little bit and the whole Giga break and whatnot. It is what it is. But yeah, I'm stoked. I'm stoked some people showed up to come and hang out. I really wasn't too sure, because like as I mentioned before, my last setup, because I moved and then I stayed at a family member's house. My internet setup was pretty awful, and so I couldn't really stream and it was hard to do videos. Making videos is easy now, but I don't have the best setup for obviously for streaming, because it's a little bit it's a little choppy, but it seems like it's gotten better, and I'll figure out what I need to do to fix it. But I wanted to try and keep something actively going, because like I said, we're planning a funded Oblivion playthrough, when I'm gonna do like 2 or 3 hours every day of playing Oblivion, and I'll post it just for you guys to put in the back. We'll put that amongst other stuff going on, like talking about chapters one, and maybe I'll go back to doing planned like sponsored videos, or if people want me to talk about. Well, I say sponsored like it's a company. It's like somebody gives me like $10 and talk about who's like a random niche character. Talk about Hughes and Mary Hughes. I want to know about their weird conducting magic. Here's $10. Get to it. I like how I say like sponsored, like it wasn't just somebody just donated a few dollars and like said like, hey, can you make this video? And I say okay. It's Oreo, the company. Who owns Oreo? Who does own Oreo? I have to look that up actually. But either way, you should know what I mean. It's just a goofy wording, but we'll see. I think the Skyrim, or I keep saying Skyrim. I think the Oblivion one would be fun, especially because, like I said, I've never played it. I think it'll be really fun to just to kind of wander around for one, and just kind of let things just progress, and we'll figure out what we can do. Like I said, my plan is I'm gonna stay in character, so I can't just wander off and do nothing. Dude, it's getting hot out here. Like, I turned my AC on. I don't want to leave it on for too long, but it's been getting hotter recently. It's been getting ready for the summer, which is a nice feeling, because for a while it was like where I'm at. I don't know if it's where everybody else is at, but it was like regular temperature. It wasn't so bad, and then randomly in the morning it would like freeze and get really chilly and be bad. And now it's like actually the weather is like being normal. It's actually getting ready for the summer, which is going to be really nice. I read Kengan Omega. I have not read Kengan Omega. Well, I'll put that on the table. Maybe I'll make that a tier thing for memberships, for like $5 tiers. I'll read a manga of your choice, and I'll do a review on it and do like a couple chapters every week or something like that. Because I gotta, one thing I gotta do. I'll probably do it tonight. I'll do a couple. I gotta do a couple emojis. I want to do it for the members, because I think I still have the option. Yeah, I should have the option for people if they wanted to become a member, but I don't have anything right now for if people want to. Like I said, if people want to, I think it's only a $1 and $2 if it's ever there. We got stuff in plan, but I wanted to have a couple things in there so it has at least semi value. If I add a couple of emojis, that's one of the reasons I got to stream a little bit more, is because I know that's what when people want to come in and just kind of bullshit, and that's what I like to do. I do like to have just streams like this where it's just like, hey, I had nothing to do and I felt like just kind of coming to chat, testing stuff out, because I do need to stream at least a little bit more. I've got a couple of videos planned I got to do tonight, and then after that we'll start to kind of move into just some general content again, and then we'll get to, like, you know, maybe a stream or so a week. Before I get to the next stream, I want to figure out this. I want to figure this out. We'll put it in there. If you wanna be a member, I'll start in there. Let me see actually on my channel. What do I even have for it? I'll look in my members stuff and get everything sorted out. If you wanna get in there and add in, support the channel, I would appreciate it. If not, you can wait. It's something that I've been meaning to do, because I took like almost a year off when I was at my family member's house. It was at my mother-in-law's, and it was just bad internet, and I'm happy that now I have like solid internet. I just have to get, I've got enough set up for like what I'm gonna do. It's just like for a lot of the series that I've been doing besides like Fairy Tail, I've been waiting for them to get to where they can actually be at to do content, because there's just a lot of stuff that it was just so early, and it's like, what am I going to talk about? Oh, this character did this. This character did this thing today. It's just like Kyoshi just got to where it's like it started to really give a position to where I can talk about like the powers in depth and talk about a lot of the different styles of things going on with it. Let me see. I think I have two. Yeah, I have three. So I have one at $7. If you be, I'll put it in there. I'll put it in a perk. Let me put in there. At the $7, I'll read a manga of somebody's choice, and we'll do a live stream where I read whatever 10 chapters per time in it. Actually, isn't that bad. 10 chapters wouldn't be too bad at all. Let me see. His videos. Let me put it in here for people if anybody's interested. Like, There we go. That good. We got an extra thing in there, so if anybody's interested, I'll get it all sorted out soon. But I know there's a lot of stuff that people are like always adamant. Like everybody's got their own niche handful of series, and I wouldn't mind, you know, if people want me to push their agenda, maybe maybe that'll be the plan. You got a niche series that you want to help get the agenda spread on. $7 my membership and my content, and I'll do a review and we'll push your agenda. I will platform an agenda for manga. That seems like the best thing. Everybody like that'll be the the agenda cast. It'll just be a full stream. What is your random niche series? And it'll be like, what if the Keebler elves instead, like one of them got like he joined after he got his degree in becoming a pastry chef after his time in Afghanistan, fighting with the Keebler elves over in the Middle East. Something crazy. Would I do them on stream or would I review them or would I read? I would be whatever the person wants, I guess. Like if you wanted me to read whatever series and do a like more in-depth review or do a live stream, it would depend on what the person wants. I put that up there. We'll put that as a membership. Let me actually, you know what? Now that I actually remember, because I need to do one thing I need to do, and I've been meaning to do this literally forever, is get the Discord, because I have a Discord and I haven't kept it as active, but like it's been nicely consistent, and I want to get it back going so people can come join and we'll start to get that kind of like swelled up. Because obviously, like, I want to talk about specific series primarily for me. Like, you know, obviously, like, Fairy Tail, I'm going to talk. I want to get back on talking about Chainsaw Man, for one. But a lot of stuff, you know, Kyoshi, Galaxia, Ichi the Witch Kagurabachi, a lot of the stuff that I want to talk about. I don't mind reading a new series and pushing someone's agenda, man. I do not mind helping someone out, and, you know, they got some random series that they want people to check out. Live stream, I don't mind. I don't mind doing that. Like I said, it'd be whatever the person is interested in. Let me try. I'm trying to get my Discord. I'm trying to remember. I haven't used Discord in forever, but I'm trying to get back at it and get it going. But at the moment, let me see. I don't want to hide my membership. Not membership. My link. Yeah, I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to remember how to unhide it because I go to copy and it just says it's still copy. I'll figure it out. I know that's like a super easy thing, but like I said, I haven't used Discord really in like a year. Plus, I wouldn't mind doing stuff like I'd have to look at what values even get for like boosting servers. I'd like to get to one of those points where it's like the server actually has value at some point, and it's not just like people in their shitpost memes. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. But I would hope to get it to where it's gonna be good because I know. They talked about for Twitter, they're going to get rid of the DM soon. They're going to have like a separate app. So I'm guessing they want to get less people in DMs and they want to get people more so out in the, like the general Twitter space and like commenting on stuff and make it a little bit more inconvenient to be in DMs. And I think people are going to migrate back to Discord in a lot of ways. I think there's going to be a big Discord resurgence. Favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card? My favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card in terms of, do you think like in terms of like general design or like if I had to pick one, my favorite card is probably Meteor Black Comet Dragon. I really love that card. I love all the Red Eyes cards, especially. I think they're fantastic. I'm a big Red Eyes main, and I wish they would have a little bit more focused stuff because there's a little bit moving around that they unfortunately did not. I wish that they didn't have as much focus on when it comes to like experimenting with it. Like Red Eyes recovery is king. Keep doing recovery. But yeah, we'll put it in there. If you wanna like my hopes, because like I wish that I could do merch. I wish that there was something I could do for like actual giving content for memberships. But at the moment, obviously, like, I don't have anything I do. I was thinking about, like, if I ever got to a point where, say, you know, I did some, like, games or something or whatever on the side that I had some form of specific channel references, I would get a 3D printer and make them myself for whatever merch I could think of or, you know, whatever. Say it's like I play a game, something happens and I'm like, man, I kill I kill a turkey with a piece of cheese, and I 3D print. So I somehow 3D print that as like a membership thing that I mail people out. It's like I never want to have it to a point where I don't have a value as what I'm giving people back. So we'll see. But I think if people want to have me shill whatever their agenda series is, I'm game for it. We'll put that in there. It's the $7 one if people want to go and invest in whatever, a month or so of whatever their series they want me to push and read, and I'll set a specific time for it because I have the time for it right now. The only I got almost half the week where I've got like that I'm off, and I'm just trying to fill in stuff for it, find something to do. And I'm like, I can think of videos, but it's like that can only take up so much. Maybe we'll do that. We'll do some streams where we'll talk about whatever series. Apparently, Kengan Omega is one of them. I've seen it. I haven't read it. Because like one thing I was hoping to do some stuff for like I want to play the Oblivion remaster. There are some games that if I can get to successful and like, oh yeah, we'll play a little bit of games. There are games that I've never played that I know are really popular. Like, I've never really played Fallout ever. And I imagine people would want to see something like that where I just play a game where there's a lot of fuck around. Because those are the games that I can spend a lot of time in, and a lot of time just doing, a lot of something that is almost a lot of nothing. Because I did that in Digimon for a while. Like, I remember I think I still have them. I never finished doing the videos for them for my, Pokemon Scarlet playthrough, because unfortunately Pokemon Scarlet wasn't a very good game. But I've grinded out finding all those coins for Gimmighoul to turn into Goldango. And I remember, I wish the design was so much more different when he evolved, instead of that weird Cinnamon guy. If you enjoy Monster Hunter, I have Monster Hunter. I need to upgrade some of the stuff on my PC before I play it. Because I had an issue where it was like, it wasn't loading stuff in the background wrong. Like, if I got to a solid spot with games where people wanted me to keep playing a game on the side, where it's like, again, if I put, like, because, side note, one thing I know, and this is something I learned about people, and, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's always good for people that make content to always have something continuously existent. Like, if I play a video game every day for, like if every day you expected me to put out a video about Fairy Tail, a different manga, a theory of like something, I guess that's still Fairy Tail, but it's like, a video game for like playthrough for an hour or something. It's consistency, because it's always something to kind of like, oh yeah, fine, I have whatever the time for it, I'll put this aside, and build up of things. Whenever you have like the urge to, go through a certain media thing or content of whatever. So it's like, if I could do something like that, I would probably plan and maybe do a stream fundraising for just parts for my computer, because there's some stuff I still need to upgrade. But again, I wouldn't mind doing that, but we would have to kind of do a video for it. But at the same time, I'm perfectly cool with that. We could do like, again, some general fundraising streams, and we'll try and get I say fundraising, but some planned group gatherings of finances in addition and action to go towards PC upgrades. Because I would love to do something like that, and I wouldn't mind, but I don't think my PC right now can handle it. Because I got my PC like relatively built to be like last for years, but it was years ago. So you can definitely tell in some areas where I need to upgrade, and I probably just need to get some parts to upgrade inside. I don't really know off the top of my head, but I've upgraded a couple things recently, but I probably need like a new graphics card for one. Relevance is key to any kind of medium, since it's a transaction. I get that. Like, I'm like anything specific. Like, if I was like, man, what game specifically do you want me to play, or what manga specifically do you want me to read? I get that 100%. I'm talking about like in between something that's specific to something that's specific, like in a trade-off. Like, if I have like, oh yeah, membership. If you have the $7 membership, you get to suggest like a manga, and maybe a manga to read, and to do something like that. Like, maybe if I do it with a game, if it was with a game, it would have to be like either the person donates enough for the game, or donates like, or like we do a stream or something that collectively gets enough for the game, and then like goes towards that in a membership or something like that. Because I just don't want to, like, my plan would be like, I primarily wouldn't want to spend you buy a game and then it's not worth playing. I'd rather get it to where it's like, oh yeah, people raise up enough for it, and then that's what we buy it for time, and then we'll play it. And then if I'm able to entertain as much out of that as possible. But we'll try that specifically. We're gonna try that with Oblivion. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, that too. Because like I said, I don't mind. I don't mind reading different stuff. I am. See, the problem with me is like sometimes I wish that I didn't. I haven't been a manga reader for so long, because like I could literally, if I say like I didn't watch like any anime or read any manga, I could just jump in and get an audience just by being like, first time watching whatever series. I could just go through each of the big shonen and like just consistently, like you'd still like, even if it's not a big amount, you could get a decent amount of views and people just going off of that. And it's like, damn, it's hard for me because like I've been reading a lot of the manga, so it's hard for me to have that same thing. There's still stuff I haven't seen, and obviously like a lot of JoJo's I haven't seen, but it's like it's harder to build off of more niche things, I think, like something that's more pocketed, rather than like the big series that relatively you're gonna get people going for every time. Because like anytime somebody's like, oh man, I really want to watch a reaction of like with Fairy Tail or One Piece or Naruto, you're gonna get a lot of the same people that go to one person to one person to one person. It just depends on who's the most entertaining out of it. So like I would have to figure out, like, obviously it's specific to what people want, but obviously I want to have a consistent amount of what you expect to have. Like, oh yeah, this is the game. Like if I have one game we're playing, because like here's the thing too, if we do Oblivion, because I think that'll be really fun to do something like that where we do a game one. But say like I do enough of Oblivion, I play Oblivion, and maybe like some people are like voting of like, hey, the members, like here's something we could do every like maybe like 2 weeks. I could do like a vote for members where people would be like, oh, we want to take a break from Oblivion and play a different game or something. Because I would want to do it to where it's, oh yeah, I'm just doing it on the side, like I said, have something just to have as entertainment in the background to keep you with consistent side noise. And you can switch to something else. Either we could work towards getting a different game, or I play something else. I have all the Kingdom Hearts games on Steam. I could play through all of those so easily, and it would be so much fun. I think it'd be a great time. And I could play through it in release order. I can play it in chronological order. It would just depend. Because that's my thing that I had to get set up, and I wasn't able to do when I was at my last setup, is like I couldn't really have members the same way, because I didn't have anything I could really provide value. I was going to do some like anime reactions, but like I combining that with other stuff that I was doing, it would be too hard to do editing wise. Whereas like games, I think it would be a little easier, but also it'll be a little easier to do just in terms of consistency now, because I have consistent internet and a better setup. I just have to get kind of the plans that I want. Because one thing I was thinking about is, because obviously like a game like Oblivion, there's an audience already pre-existing, and something like I've never played it, so I know there's always a market for like first time players. And the thing that I have on YouTube already is I have a decent channel size, so it's like I already have enough setup. I just do it from here, but I would just have to pull people over. But we'll see. Roku says that he is interested in a trade-off. What manga are you interested, or manhwa? I've read a few. I haven't read a lot of them. I know there's a lot. I know Solo Leveling is like the popular one right now. I read Four Cut Hero. I read some of Tower of God. I would probably like to go back to read like Tower of God or something, because I thought that was fine overall. I remember seeing like people talk about some of like the crazy weird like endgame lore, and it just seems like one of those series that just kind of goes and gets a little crazy out of hand. But I don't know, maybe it works better in its structure. Why don't you play some horror games? I don't know if I have any horror games. Like I said, here's the thing. If I get it set up to where, one, it's like I would need to either, like, if somebody wanted to donate the game, or if like we did a stream to get a game, I wouldn't mind after that point playing it 100%, and then we would just do a stream for it. Because like I said, as long as it's something that people want, is the thing that I think is a danger if like you try and get into like playing games for content, is if you go to stuff, you spend money on something that you don't know if people want. But I already have like a decent enough audience that it'd be easier to like pull of like, what are people interested in seeing. Because like saying, I think something like Oblivion would be really cool just to see kind of, you know, people go back and forth, and it's an easy way to just to have something always going on. Because I plan on just like fucking around a lot. I plan on like having like a general goal that I want to do. I have to autistically destroy construct my character to, at the very base, I need to have a character that can do fire spells and has a great sword of some kind. I need a great sword, or like, I don't know. I think really that's the only thing I can have, or maybe like a cool like regular long sword. But like I need to like essentially be like Gandalf. Like I want to be like a fire Gandalf in terms of style in that verse. But or if I could be like a barbarian that is also a spellcaster. I don't know. I've never played the game. I only know a couple people. Actually, I don't know. A lot of people that I know that like are really into the games, I haven't talked to in years, so I don't really have a lot of points of reference. Yeah, I'll have to look at your webtoon list, man. You said on the 21st? I'd be game for it. I was setting up some stuff. I was trying to set up like a side job I have a plan for another channel that I want to do, but I have to set up for that. And maybe we can talk about that eventually as well. Because I mean, I wouldn't mind combining them, I guess. It wouldn't bother me. Maybe we'll do it for this channel as well if we get the memberships. Um, Essentially, like what I'm planning, I want to do a card opening channel, like where I do, you know, just open different cards, and maybe we do like streams where we do like giveaways and stuff. I really like that stuff. I think that those are really fun. But I want to do, I don't want to do like Pokemon, and I don't want to do Yu-Gi-Oh. Some Yu-Gi-Oh, a little bit every once in a while. But like I want primarily, like, I'm a big fan of the Digimon card game, but I really want to open random like card games that used to exist, or like ones that, like, there's one, you can look this up, it's on eBay. It's like a Desert Storm trading card game where you can get Saddam Hussein, and it's like, because Saddam Hussein is like a PSA 10 is worth like $400 or something. I just thought that like something like that was ridiculously funny, and something like that, like, I'd love to look at, like, there's like, I don't know if anybody's seen the show, if they ever watched Chaotic when it was on TV, is they had a card game, and I would love to try and collect some of those, or something like that, where it's just like, you know, getting a collectible and like doing fun stuff like that. Because I want to talk about obviously manga and anime, but I would like to kind of do fun stuff for the sake of like the additional content. And if it's like, it's not just like playing games, if we could do just fun stuff like that a week, where I could like, oh yeah, we're gonna do something with cards, or we're gonna fucking we're gonna talk about, like, you know what, maybe if there's anybody, I wish Quan was here, because I know Quan remembers the weirdly random different colored ketchups of the early to mid 2000s that they did, like, you know, the purple and the green Shrek ketchup that they had with stuff. Because that was an interesting time in the world, and I wish we would go back to that, even just a little bit. I know there's gonna be at least somebody that remembers at some point. I just know Quan is old enough, like I am, to remember when that was a thing. I'm a fan though of when food companies do weird gimmicks. I'm always a fan of when they're like, let's just do something for fun, fuck it. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna do a I'm trying to think of something ridiculous. We're gonna do a type of mayonnaise. No, they're like, we're gonna do a triple spread mayonnaise, ketchup. I don't really know what's blue. A blue mustard for red, white, and blue for for 4th of July this year, or something like that. That'd be pretty funny. Yeah, dodging raindrops. Quan, that's his best speed feat though. He did that. That's a true story. He actually did that. He accomplished it. I keep touching my nose. I've had like almost I think a cold coming in, but I don't think so. But I think also I just need to shave my beard. I haven't shaved it, so I think I just have all these hairs that just tickle my faces a little bit, and it pisses me off. Almost 32. I know you're in the older generation. I actually looked at, you know what's funny? I looked at my analytics. I have not looked at my analytics for a while. And it's around the same as my Twitter one. It's like, I have a lot of people from like 18 to 24, and then like 24 to 32. And that's like almost everybody that watches my content. And I have like a quarter female on Twitter. I don't think it's the same way. I think it's like 10% on YouTube. But I've got surprisingly a decent amount of chicks that look at my my content. It is what it is, though. It's because you ready. Ready, come here. Ready. But he's asleep. Ready. Everybody. He is not having it. Ready, come here. You pretending you're dead? Come here. My buddy. Come up here. I said I would show you for if we did $10. I don't care. Come here, Ready. Why are you not saying hi? He's not having it today. Ready. I think he's just tired. I can't have my other dog in here because he bullies my other dog and he makes him sit in the corner. And my poor shepherd gets bullied by this golden retriever all the time. He just gets harassed by this big old mean red boy. You're fine, Ready. I'll rent my dog out to people too if they get I'll have a secret 4th tier above, and if they anybody who unlocks that, I will let them rent my dog out and you can borrow my dog for a while. He's a nice dog. I just like he's a nice dog if it's people. I can't bring around other dogs because he's an instigator and he plays too rough. And he will instigate fights with other dogs. Not directly, but he's one of those dogs he doesn't understand when other dogs tell him to stop. And he'll just keep fucking with them until a fight breaks out. But it is what it is. We'll see. I was really sad with the drop off of Black Clover Twitter because it was kind of like it just got kind of like executed. The whole Giga Jump, I swear, it just straight hammer to anvil crushed the entirety of like Black Clover Twitter and brought it to relatively a dead stop. It almost doesn't exist. There's like some people that like come out of the woodwork and they chat for a little bit. But I mean, it doesn't. It has like really nobody anymore. It makes me a little sad. Because like I understand with like Fairy Tail has like it surges every like time we get a chapter drop. Or if there's like something that comes out with like Mishima or something. But like I understand obviously with like a 2-week period and it's harder to access it. And obviously there's a lot of stuff to get through. But like Black Clover is really at the end of its era. Or of its area, and it's on the Jump app, and it's just like we get some nice time whenever the chapter comes out, and then it's silence like a day later. Fades. It's like, so the thing is like there was a lot of people that just like falling off really hurt it, like Cloud for at least Black Clover Twitter. And I know that there's other sides, but I think the larger side of Black Clover Twitter, just to see like it in of itself in full really died off. But like yeah, for like our corner specifically, like Cloud moved over to Jujutsu Kaisen and then just kind of fell off. Josuke stopped, Quan stopped, Fades stopped, Fades is in the Navy, so it's like he's got other stuff going on, but he really only pops in every once in a while. It just really it killed the momentum, and then killing the momentum online really hurt the ability for people to keep up content wise, because it's different. It's like if it moved to monthly, people would be fine monthly, but when you're waiting 4 months for a chapter, it's really hard to consistently have stuff to talk about. And I think that was just really unfortunate. And then it's like My Hero ended, Jujutsu Kaisen ended. It didn't really have anything really for people to kind of like keep up in the same conversation. And all these new series were coming out, and it's like nobody's really going to be like in competition talking about like Kagurabachi to Black Clover. There's just too big of a gap between the two series and their timeout and like what they've accomplished and what they've been doing. Jack just came back. I was going to say, like, I actually don't know what's been going on with Broku. Has he not just made content? I don't know what he's been up to. I don't really talk to him too much. I mean, like, I don't really blame him. Because, like, I just don't think that there's a lot for you to talk about. Because, like, right now, Black Clovers is just in such a limbo status that I think it'd be hard to really make a lot of content for it. Because there's not a lot of new stuff. And, like, as far as you know, there's not going to be any new reveals or expansions coming up. Because you don't know if there's going to be a sequel. We don't know if there's going to be anything beyond this or what's going to be going on. It just might be, like, over. And like, once the series ends, there's not going to be anything for you to, to keep going on. I think that's just rough. So we'll see. It's a shame. I mean, it's just one of those things that just is a result of the series switching over. I think that it going to Giga was a bad choice. I know some people prefer like the like what Tabata's put out for some of the art and whatnot. I think he should have just went to monthly, and we could have got it at a better pace, or bi-weekly. I think bi-weekly is really the best. I've really seen, at least from what we've been demonstrating, like a really nice a really nice just more timed set of events, because like you get to that like same around chapter number and they just throw in like a couple more pages extra, or just turn an extra page into a double spread or something, and bam, you have like your 20 something, 22, 23, 25 or whatever pages, and then you have a bi-weekly, and it gives them more time to kind of work on it and spread their art out. So I'm hoping we see that more with like how things are going, because we know Galaxius did that. I'm pretty sure the Martial King is bi-weekly now. And I mean, One Piece is kind of not weekly. One Piece is like whatever, like every 3 weeks break, 3 weeks break, sometimes like more than that. And I'm hoping it stays like that for the sake of for the health of the manga. It's one of the things, like, it's like when people say like, man, this is a weekly anime. This is not a weekly anime. It has not been a weekly anime for a long time. But some people are always gonna kind of jump on it like that. I don't know. What do you guys think? I always think that's funny. It's like people keep calling like the stuff from the recent episodes of One Piece. It's like, these weekly episodes, and it's like, didn't they just get off a 6 month break, man? I get the hype, but like, why are you lying? Why are you lying right now? There's not a lot of weekly series anymore, because like One Piece isn't weekly anymore. Black Clover's not weekly anymore. What else is weekly? I don't think anything, right? Maybe like Pokemon. As far as I know, there aren't any weekly manga, or not weekly manga, weekly anime like in that same space. Maybe there's some, and it's like more of like the kids animes and stuff, where it's just like supposed to just be for fun. But like anything from like, obviously, in this what I'm talking about for like story based series, like I don't think there's a lot of weekly ones anymore. I think everything else is like moved out. Because My Hero was seasonal. Everything, relatively everything after that seasonal, because it was just One Piece. I think was just the last one that was. I think it was just One Piece was the last one that was weekly, but really you can't call it weekly anymore. It just doesn't fit. I don't know. Anyone, does anyone else have any ideas on mangas and stuff like you'd wanna like recommend and chill for stuff like that? Is there anything anyone else has got an agenda for? We'll have that set up relatively soon. I have the memberships if anybody wants to support, but obviously that's 100% extra. Because I gotta work towards it. Like I said, I've got a couple emojis I have to work in for people, and then once we get started going with a little bit more of like the bonus content, we'll start to have more, hopefully, people interested in the again, I need to think of something better than just calling it bonus content. Well, the thing, I'll figure out some form of more polite way to say it. It's the appetizers. It's just like, yeah, this is the free it's like, generally it's like, okay, my normal stuff, this is the free trial, and then it's like you get the behind the scenes, you get the fast pass. The fast pass is like $7. It's like, listen, we're just a small business trying to get by, okay? We're just trying to get by. I'll get with you when I get my list. Yeah, message me on Twitter, man, and we'll get it figured out. Because I got like schooling stuff I gotta do, and then I gotta still do a couple of videos tonight. And then we'll get to setting some time up for stuff like that. Because I got a couple of videos I gotta do for like Fairy Tail. Then, like I said, I got some Kyoshi stuff I already do, and I want to get the couple reviews done. Well, I'm trying to think actually, because I think, where's my phone at? I think we're gonna, because we get chapters this weekend rather, and it's already almost Wednesday. Let me see. Because I think the Martial King is gonna have another chapter in like a day or two, so I might just wait a day or two for that. And I know I've been literally saying that for like 2 weeks, but I wouldn't mind doing it again. Yeah, in one day, so we'll get one like tomorrow or something. So I'll probably wait on that. I gotta do one on Galaxias, but I think I might wait until. Actually, did we get a Galaxias chapter today? We might have gotten one today. I might just wait for that to get translated if so. Or I guess put out. We'll see. I might just buy it. I don't think so. No, it was not. There's not a chapter today. Next week. So maybe I'll do a chapter. We'll see at some point. We'll figure out what exactly the plan is up with that. Because, I want to do that. Like I said, I've been wanting to talk about the powers in Kyoshi for a bit. I really like the crests. They seem like it's like they all feel to me kind of like molding magic, where it's like this relatively unlimited freeform magic where you would get to just kind of do whatever. It just depends on the user. And that's how the power, like when you have a crest in Kyoshi, seems to work, where you just have like, oh yeah, you manipulate this thing in this order, and then everything beyond that is up to the user's creativity. And I really want to see, like, just, you know, just talking about what, you know, get people's reaction to what we've been shown so far, and to see what else we're going to be getting as events progress. Because just getting like the cool techniques that Itsuki pulled out during his fight, I think it'd be really cool to see. And again, as we progress during each of these, because we're going to be getting more of these fights actually directly shown. As I gotta do one too on Nihon and Jack Joe's battle form with their whole like cool contract merged, because I thought that was really cool. And just like this, the way that it was very simple, and yet it was a very direct, cool way of combat, where he just has these cool big extra arms that he can use for movement and responsive attacks. We also had this lance. The lance was neat because it was unexpected. I didn't think he was going to have a weapon. I thought he was just going to have like the cool hands, but he ended up having this cool lance weapon that he could do this, you know, black spear on, which we do need to have. We do need to get an explanation still of how the demon powers in the verse work, because we don't have anything in depth. We know somewhat about the humans' powers with the percept power, but still we don't have anything that really gives us any you know, any specific details that you know, that they give us. Okay, yeah, we can. Well, we actually have information on how the species functions and why they're doing X, Y, or Z. But it just seems to be that they have their own power system and they have their own racial abilities, is what it is. Has anybody else been reading any news series or anything that they would that they have to list to maybe to have as a shill? Because I know that there are some people that they, you know, everybody's got their own series that like they want other people to read and want other people to go at. I was still thinking maybe once I get more settled, if I was gonna do anime reactions again, because I would just need to figure out where to split them. But like I want to, if I do that, that's not gonna be until probably last. I don't think I would want to do that as early on, just because I have other stuff that I would prefer doing. Also, I gotta freaking shave. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to do one at some point too. Maybe when I get Oblivion, we'll do like we'll do a chat created character that we'll play as, and hopefully maybe I can be like, I don't know, I can be like a bread thief. He'll murder anybody for a type of bread he's never had before. Yeah, he gets hunted down by the Baker's Guild. See, that'd be intense. I don't know if anybody would I don't know if anybody would be able to put that in the lore. We'll have to call up Bethesda and see if they would want to actually. We need to make this canon, and we need to put this in for the next Elder Scrolls game. We have a bread murderer, or at least the Baker's Guild. I think would be awesome. Some form of combat bakers, and they're serious. Wizard bakers. That would actually be really cool. Well, actually, I would need like a warrior baker too. I can't just have wizard bakers. Figure out whatever they need to in direct, angry ways to use their baking skills for combat. Maybe they'll have a giant bread sword. What do you think? Do you think it would be that should be a class? Combat baker or combat chef. You had just you just channel Toriko and you just unleash it into direct combat. See, that'd be perfect. Yeah, I can make my own. Maybe that'll be my guy. Ooh, can you bake things? Can you be a baker? Do you know if in Oblivion, like if there's a cooking skill, can my guy be into baking? I could be like a cool bread warrior. The baker berserker. Ooh, that'd be cool. See, like if I could have some, like, it's like my sword. It's one of the, like, I use my sword. It's like a giant flat blade, but I use it to scoop bread. See, that'd be amazing. My guy would be so powerful, but he would be so talented. And maybe he doesn't want to fight. He wants, it's like fighting is a means to an end, and at the end I'm gonna make delicious baked goods. Ooh, that's gonna be the plan then. That's gonna 100% be the plan. We'll see it when we get to it. See, one thing, you know what I miss? I miss when Josuke would get mad at people that were lurking. And it's just like he would be like, "Alright, motherfuckers, we've got X amount of people and we only got so many likes. Now, if you guys want this to keep going, we're gonna need this now." Yeah, that was one of the things I thought was really funny. I really miss when he would get into an argument with the chat. We'll work towards that. We'll work towards like an adversary of chat time in the future. We have to get through the we'll have to get through the test period. Once I get through, the first thing I'll have to do, I will look into like why this is choppy. And once I figure out why this is choppy, we'll get that fixed, and then we'll look towards doing stuff again with some of the game streams, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do. I guess we're gonna do Oblivion first, maybe in a couple weeks. Seems to be so far with John here. And we'll start working towards whatever else. Like I said, I've got all of Kingdom Hearts. I think Kingdom Hearts would be really fun to play through. I wanted to play them through with my wife, but I don't think she's interested in Kingdom Hearts. I don't think she's gonna be in that style. I might give it another shot, but we'll see. Luckily for me, I can play Kingdom Hearts like almost every single time. See, I keep touching my face. I really gotta go shave. I haven't shaved my beard at all in like 3 weeks, and it's just at that stage where stuff grows, and it just as like a note, my hair grows in like random directions, so it'll get to where it annoys the shit out of me, and if I don't trim it, it will get in like my eyes or my fucking get in my mouth and irritate the shit out of me all the time. I get mad at my dad all the time because my parents gave me this really annoying hair, and both my brothers got really nice, easy, manageable straight hair. Pisses me off. It's one of the things I always bring up that makes me mad. Whenever I like talk to my dad, like he'll like complain about my hair. I'm like, this is your fault. Your fault. You did this to me. I haven't played 1.5. I've done the main games in the series, dude. I have all of them. I would love to play through them again. I think it'd be so much fun. I've done it a few times. I just haven't done it recently. See, I haven't played 3 in a long time. I think 3 would be fine to play again. I remember not being as hard as I thought, but I also played a lot of Kingdom Hearts, so that could have just been that. But other than that, I don't know. I feel on the hair growth. My hair has been always really annoying. It just is like this. It just grows in a really annoying directions and is unmanageable. It just be like that sometimes. But it is what it is. But we'll see. Yeah, once if I can be a baker in the game, we'll do that. And then whenever we get around to it, we'll get set up, and then we'll do like a stream. You said like 21st, man, from Kingdom Hearts. I can do that too. I mean, I would be willing to do that like as just an additional one, like right afterwards. We just move right from like Oblivion for a couple weeks, and then we move to Kingdom Hearts, and we play through Kingdom Hearts. That would be awesome. Like, I don't think I would have any complaint to that whatsoever. Does anybody? Does anybody think that would be a bad move? You see, I'm trying to remember. I was looking at my car. I was trying to remember. I got to order something for my mother-in-law for Mother's Day. I was like, almost forgot, but luckily, I managed to remember. If you guys if you guys want to donate to my mother-in-law's Mother's Day present, I'm your guy. Donate now. Let me see. I just had to remember that before I forgot, and then it's like, oh, it's like a few days from. I'm like, oh fuck. Should be good though. Yeah, we'll see. We'll have a good time, and then we'll read that we'll read whatever manhwa you wanted me to read. We'll figure out what's going on with that. Give me an excuse to read some series I haven't read before. We'll get through that. We'll read Oblivion, or read Oblivion. We'll play Oblivion, and then we'll look at some other stuff going on. We'll see what other series. Because I want to talk about some of the other ones like I mentioned. Galaxia's Galaxia's needs a few more characters. Really needs a few more characters. Because I've mentioned that like a lot of these out of them, the one thing that Kyoshi has over all the other new series right now is it has the best cast of characters overall, and I think that just makes sense for I think it just makes sense when you compare it to like the other ones for like content to talk about. And when you have something like Ichi the Witch is like, oh yeah, let's talk about this content is going to be in the Magics, and we're going to have to, I think, wait like another arc or two to really kind of like get enough of them to be where we can have like consistent content. Otherwise, it's going to be what I make one of them every like 2 months. I don't know. Maybe. I know you've been here for a long time, man. I've known you for a long time. For what is it, like early Black Clover days? Like, wasn't it? Because you were in Josuke's chat before the first time skip, right? I'm trying to remember the exact timeline because I remember where it was when I like a lot of those Black Clover streamers started to kind of really like we started to have the regular streams and like cross connection of content, and that was one of the things that I think really was lost with it. Is there was a lot of the Black Clover people interacted with each other, and I think that once they moved out of the weekly format, I think that hurt a lot of people's motivations for interacting. I don't know. Luckily, like you've been a consistent friend to be staying around the channel. Yeah, early Elf arc, because I know it was like I'm trying to remember exactly where it was where a lot of people kind of grouped up. I think it was like right when that arc started. Because I think it was after the Royal Magic Night exam. We'll have to see. What do you think though about if I did content for opening cards, if I did something like that on this channel where it's like I had another hobby thing where I just added on there for the sake of just adding content, but I just did it as like, oh yeah, members thing if you want to see me just do extra stuff like that. Because like I want to do that, but it's like I don't know if I 100% if I should do it as a separate channel or if I should just continue on what I'm already doing and just have it as additional content. Because I think it'd be fun to, because like I want to do stuff for like a certain one, but I would like to open, like I said, like really weird random sets of things. Because there are fairy tale cards and there are like Black Clover cards, and I would love to have like a structure set up where I could get like, you know, oh yeah, if you like anime and you like cards, like you can come to my channel. I'll open stuff for a lot of these sets. Like if we open stuff that has like, oh yeah, this crossover had stuff that did with Seven Deadly Sins, or did again stuff with Fairy Tail, or did stuff with Black Clover, did stuff with you know, whatever, like a crossover, and it's like, okay, let's just open them for fun, separate channel. That's what I was thinking. I didn't know if it'd be fun to do it on the same one, but it just depends, because otherwise it's like I gotta make it a different themed. Otherwise it's like I would have to expand it upon what I'm doing now, and I wasn't too sure on that. That's probably gonna be the plan. Because like because I was thinking I would either have to like get upset for it through it, or like I would have to wait and then kind of like, because what I've been doing and probably what I was gonna do is focus on this one and do extra stuff for this, and then once I get all the supplies and stuff already prepped and set aside for the other one, I'd open the separate one. Because it would be like either I'm gonna like try and use like, do I use one platform as like a shift towards it, or do I wait and then set it up as a second one, and that way I don't have to do any shifts or anything, or like overinflate or whatever. See, I've never played Honkai Star Rail. Like any of those types of games I've never played, so those would be something that I would have to like, people would have to incentivize me to go play it, because I just never put any time towards it whatsoever. I know some people are like obsessed with those games, but I just haven't. I have no idea what you do in them. I've never even, I don't think I've really even seen any gameplay. I've only really seen like a couple random ads, and then when people talk about like some character they really like. I don't know. Ooh. My wife wanted like she wanted to order this item for her mom, but like Mother's Day is in like a week. But like the item she get won't even like it won't even be here for like 2 weeks. So it's gonna be mad. But it's like this is what you wanted. I just have to prepare myself mentally for that because it's gonna be I gotta be ready. It'd be catastrophic. But we'll see. We'll be prepped. Turn-based semi-RPG. See, I think it'd be fun to do stuff like play the Fairy Tail game and whatnot, on stream for the channel. But it's gonna really depend. I don't know. We'll see how stuff plays out probably the next couple like weeks or so. Like I said, let me trying to remember again how to do a Discord link. Because it's just not showing, and I know I have to go into a setting to keep it so they're hidden. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I messed with Discord at all. I think I have to go into the server settings, right? Server settings. Yeah, invites. I don't want it to be hidden though. Because I have a stream on? I have to look into it. Just message me on Twitter. Recap people through the game. We could do that 100%. I'm 100% cool with doing a stream on that. I would just need to make sure that I get this choppy framings figured out. That's the only thing for me. Like if I can get that, I think that we're pretty much good. Oh, how do I make it so like my invite isn't hidden? Because I want to post it. I want to have it so I can put it in the stream for people to join, but I imagine everybody in here is already in the Discord. Because you're in there, aren't you? I think you're in there, John. I think the game would be fun to just like, generally play through more. I mean, it goes up to like Margear, but I mean, like I would need to set up to where I hopefully can get to where people would want to. Like if I could make enough to get the second game essentially, so I can play the second game and we could go through like the whole general story. I know it's missing everything from prior relatively of Sirius Island, but still. We'll see. We'll have it in there. Like I said, one thing I have to do, like I said, I gotta finish a couple videos after this, and then once I get the stream images will fix, and I'll look into it, try and figure out how to fix it, and we'll do another test stream maybe on Sunday or something. And then once that we know it's good, we'll look at doing consistent streams, and then we'll try and keep things hopefully set up for more expansion, because that's the thing I want to kind of do, especially is I don't want to just do it for a short period. I want it to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this thing where we have like a whatever, a set time of the week where we do X, Y, or Z, and it just gives it the ability to have more lasting value, in my opinion. You know, I want stuff to do for that. Yeah, man. Well, so if you'll be there, I'm hoping to get at least a few more where we'll get some we'll get a returning audience. Because obviously, like for stuff, when we do the Oblivion playthrough, we'll just have that for everybody. But and then we'll work towards eventually maybe having something where it's like a members only thing or stuff where it's more select. But I want to always have stuff for everybody. That's the problem. But it's like you can't do certain things without like you can't have any like, oh yeah, this is like a members only thing without the base of people who are already getting stuff, and then getting stuff like, oh yeah, we're gonna do it's like nobody's gonna want to go for like stuff for like memberships if there's not an active group of people that come in and talk on stream, because there has to be an incentive to want to have like higher tiers and have like a membership with like whatever the emojis and the markings and whatnot. Black Clover versus everyone's stream. Well, I don't think he's his channel's still up. I don't think that he's done anything. Let me go for a while. I don't think he's done anything for like a year, right? Let me see. Is Josuke's channel still up? I would assume so. I don't see it anywhere. I'm sure I can find it if I put a little bit more effort, but I don't see it right now. I don't know. Either way, I mean, I'm just happy that I'm just happy at least the manga's finishing up decently well. Like if Tabata, like, my fingers are crossed that Tabata is gonna have something prepped and ready for like the next generation, if he does some form of continuation, or if he's going to just, I don't know, take some time off. Who knows? The server, you thought the server was dead? Every once in a while, somebody posts on his server. I don't know if anybody said anything recently. Every once in a while, there's like a comment. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like there's any life left in there. I wish there was. That's one of the things I'm hoping. Hopefully we can get stuff back. Even if it's just like, maybe we'll get some of the Black Clover people and they could come read Kyoshi or Ichi the Witch or something. We'll revive some of them. We'll get them back from their deep slumber in the earth. And we'll let them return to the world. Let me see if I can find up a reasoning. I'll AI it and see if I can find up of why the AI is choppy. Let me see. Background programs. I don't think I have any background. I've got Cyber Sleuth open. Let me close Cyber Sleuth and see if that makes it run any faster. Maybe it'll run better that I have that out. Let me see. We'll give it a second. Tell me if the next like minute or two after this is less choppy. Maybe it's because I had that game open. It looks a little better now that I'm looking at the stream after closing it. Let me put it in myself in like, let me put it in HD. I don't know. Maybe it'll run a little bit better. I do need to get some new stuff for my computer though. Maybe we'll do that beforehand. We'll, like, right before we do that stream, we'll do like a general stream of like, let's see if we can get anybody to donate towards X, just to get like whatever program for like the stream for upgrading essentially. But I definitely need to get things up and running first. I've been very happy recently with some of the like I said, with some of the turnaround on some of my videos and like how the reception has been. And it gives me hope towards what we're going with. So we'll see. Some chop, not a lot. See, it's a little bit nicer. After I close the game, it does look a little bit nicer since I closed my game, but we'll see. I definitely need to have some stuff up, like maybe like gets upgrade any of my antivirus stuff, clean my computer. Like I said, we'll do some stuff and maybe we'll work towards hopefully if we can get some donations and stuff just to help me get my stuff back in order. Because I don't mind. The thing is, like, I would like to, like I said, do consistent just like content every day. It's only the times where my computer is annoying where it's like it seems to unfortunately cripple me. But if I can try and get my entertainment levels and consistent enough put out there, maybe people will help me out, that I can keep them entertained in exchange for letting me essentially letting me entertain them, I guess. We would just have to hopefully convince enough people to chip in. We'll see. I think one thing I've at least shown over the years is that like I will consistently come back and I will do stuff, but obviously I need to feed the audience first. I need to do a couple more videos. I need to talk about, again, Kyoshi hype. Kyoshi hype. I don't need to keep telling people all the time because they should be reading it now. Same thing with Galaxias, and we'll talk about some other series. I know Ichi the Witch has been a big popularity rise right now. Does anybody else like have any other like newer series that they've been reading that other people haven't checked out on yet? I know there's got to be at least some. There's got to be a couple series that like people like they haven't figured it out yet. Balance is key. Yeah, I know. Well, see, it does look better. It does look better on stream, so maybe that's one thing. I'll just have to see about getting getting a couple like little bits of my computer, and we'll see exactly what it wants to do. Maybe after that point we'll be able to run a little bit nicer. I probably just need to clean up some shit on my computer or something. Figure out what exactly it wants to do to essentially just kind of like keep itself from clogging up. Let me actually pull up some stuff before we. Well, I'll do it like after a stream, but I do have some programs that I can keep things running once we get finished up. And we'll see eventually if it keeps it a little bit more smooth. I'll do another stream this weekend. I mean, we have chapters again this weekend, so we'll hopefully, like I said, I'll do a couple things before then, and then hopefully by then we'll stay caught up, and then we'll start looking towards just doing some additional stuff. Especially like if you said the 21st, so that's 2 weeks from now. Then it gives me about 2 weeks to just do enough videos in between. Then I'd probably do like maybe 2 or 3 streams. Overgeared? I think I've heard of Overgeared. I don't think I've read it, but I've heard of it. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, it wants me to restart my computer. I'll do that afterwards. We'll see. Omniscient Reader. I think I've heard of that too, but I have not read it. I want to hear everyone's suggestions. Come on, lurker people. I know there's somebody here who's got another series that they've been reading that other people haven't read. Tell me exactly what you've been reading. Come on, lurker. Somebody that's just sitting here doing nothing. Comment. I want to know exactly what your opinion is. What's a series you've been interested in? The people want to know. Especially John. Reaper scans. Yeah, I get another job sooner. It just depends. Yeah, that's the same thing with me. I've got another like side one I'm setting up because I want to do that card opening channel, but I'm trying to grind out some extra stuff. That's one of the reasons I'm really hoping to. I've got some, like I said, I've got stuff that I'm doing, but like I gotta get content on the channel, kind of like add the consistent run again, and then that way when I go do other stuff and I'm like dedicating more time to doing like doing a side job, that it won't interfere with the content. Because I've got a couple of things I'm gonna do tonight, and then I'm gonna release them like a video or so, like a day, once or twice a day, and then if I can get it to maintaining that over the course, hopefully the next couple of weeks. Because I'm gonna do probably like 4 or 5 shortly after this stream. I've got a couple that I'm gonna do, and then like I said, like I'm gonna do some just like expanding content and like trying to do more stuff for Yoshi, because I'm hyped for that. I think that there's going to be some value in those ones, assuming that the verse survives the long run. I know we've gotten to volume 3 now, and it looks like it's doing pretty well. So not great, but I mean, like all it has to do is just kind of do better than the last 2 volumes, and I think it'll be fine. But we'll see. I don't think we have any numbers yet, so it's going to be a hot minute. I don't think we've got anything. Let me double check. I think it just went on sale. But we only have so long. I'm just hoping for like 15 to 20,000, something like that, and then the manga just like again it sits at like a nice structured area, and we can kind of just go okay. Because it looks like what was this? May 3rd. What day is this though? Let me see. Is there one for May 2nd or May 1st? Let me see really quick. I still wonder if you can hear my dog in the back barking. Yoshi was at 21. And then I see on the next one, at least on the 3rd, was at 29. And then the 5th, is this the same magazine? No, I don't think so. I'm trying to see, what was the first? I think that was the first day. We should be getting some more if so. But I'm really hoping that we get like, I'm just hoping that the series does decent. Like I said, I don't need it to like smash 1 million records. I'm just hoping that it does well enough that it's, we're gonna keep seeing it. and it looks like it's doing fine so far. Like at least if the days like it was at 21 and then went to 29 in spot, it's probably held consistently like to a pretty solid degree. And Roboco like has like a weird occult following. I think it's funny that like Astro Royale, like it seems to be holding like a pretty decent spot too. But like I don't know what was up with that, why they canceled it, because it had like decent numbers. I think maybe they just saw that the series wasn't going to expand or do too well after a certain point, or what exactly was going on. Because Kyoshi's been doing a really good job at gaining momentum, and I wonder how much they look at that for like the trajectory of a series versus like, okay, cool, you know, you're doing well right now, but it doesn't look like it's growing at all. It looks like it's just gonna be stuck here, kind of thing. I don't know. Oh, it's free. Oh, that's good. I definitely prefer to read stuff without having to have to like go into like set up some subscription service or something, or otherwise I can find it myself. It would just depend. Like I don't want to put that much like long amount of time and effort into it. I'd rather just read it without having to like jump through a million hoops. People just want comedy. Yeah, and I understand that. Sometimes it's just boring. Sometimes you just want something to be entertaining. It's like I know when people were talking about that like with certain movies. Like I remember it was like when Godzilla, like new Godzilla movies started to hit, and people were like mad that it's like if you're just trying to see some like big monsters fight each other, then I guess this is for you. But if you want more of a story, blah, blah, like it was just like one of those people. And it's like sometimes people just want to be entertained, man. That's exactly like crazy monsters fighting. It's exactly what people go to see Godzilla movies for. Oh, the Roboco thing. I mean, yeah, I think it's just more about like it does a lot of references, and I think that like it has like a consistent funny comedy aspect of it that keeps the same people around, and I think it's entertaining to the people that work in Jump, so they like it as well. There's like different thresholds of criteria when it comes to gag series though. They don't seem to ever have to sell the same amount of numbers. It just has to be entertaining. Maybe like there's a secret aspect where it's like the people inside of the magazine, if they all like it, like all the like just they're all entertained, so like that's good enough. That's secretly what it's about. It would be counteract what is it? Oh, scatter sites and stuff. Yeah, I mean that's good as long as it has some value to it. But anyway, I'm gonna call it good. We've been streaming for like what 2 hours, just kind of doing this nice test stream. It does look like it's been less choppy since I turned that game off. So I mean, I'll just keep that in mind. Not to have as much stuff in the background, and maybe we'll have a stream. I don't know. I'll probably have to do like a stream or two again, just to kind of like build up some momentum, and then maybe we'll do one where it's like, hey guys, we're gonna maybe after Skyrim, we'll try and do one where it's like we'll do like a fundraising time where people will hopefully be able to give into to give into the whole setup. And what I'll probably do too is I'll probably do what we'll do, John, and I don't know if Kenmano's still here. I know Kenmano is Kenmano, the longtime supporter. I can't ever not count him in. As well, when it comes to like anything additional, like playing games, is I'll do members only first, and that way they can watch and get the content like a day or two before I put it out to the to everybody else. And that way, so it's like even if it doesn't like people don't watch like a ton of it, it's like suddenly everybody wants to watch this video of this guy playing Oblivion. We'll be like, no, it'll at least give it value to the people that are supporting firsthand, that they're going to get this content first. And obviously, we can play more games. Doesn't have to, like I said, Kingdom Hearts. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan myself, so I would love to just play Kingdom. Like, I don't really need much of a reason to play Kingdom Hearts. But, Dark Souls as well. I started a playthrough before, but it was the same issue where it was like my connection was bad. And I would have to... I have to get to where obviously it's like, it's not going to be a problem running both at the same time. Maybe it'll be a little bit less annoying if like recording it versus streaming it. Gotta go to... gotta get Rax to Bungo Stray Dogs. Don't worry, I've promised you I haven't forgot about Bungo Stray Dogs. We'll put that in there too. Like I said, before Kenmano, I promise you. But my last setup, I was like, you can see some of the videos where I had the camera on. It was not good. I did not have a good setup in both in construction and in the internet. I have good internet now. I want to get stuff over here. I have literally nothing right here. I'd love just to get like a shelf and like get some cool like nerds shit on there, but again, I want to do it for the channel, so it's like I want to build it up over time because I still have stuff in storage, so I can't actually have my shit. But I'd like to like build some stuff up. Maybe like, we'll see some progress of like, you know, if we do that an extra stream that we'll have something. Maybe it's like through profits of it with donations, we'll get like a shelf and we'll get some knickknacks and what the fuck not put in the background. But we'll figure it out. Right now, let me see, because I have like the 3 tiers, I think. Yeah, I have like a $1 tier, a $2 tier, and a $7 tier for members. If anybody wants to support, again, it's always going to be optional. But we're gonna be moving from here. I have the time for it. I have the slots. The essentially like the only time now that I like out of like my second half of the week, I'm always gonna have off. Well, I guess it's the first half now. The first half of the week, I'm always gonna have off. The opening of the week, so I'm always gonna have time to do whatever the fuck, and we'll play, you know, games, and we'll do reviews and do and just do additional content. But it's gonna be, like I said, it's gonna be first members first, and we'll start just in general of like, you know, I'll give some time out. We'll do probably the first few plays of like with Oblivion and whatever else for free, just to kind of get people to, you know, see if I'm entertaining enough to buy $1 of their time or whatever a month. But we'll work towards it. And I hope my only hope is just to be, like I said, I only hope to be as entertaining enough to earn a few dollars from people a month. That is my goal. Because then if we can get it collectively enough, then we can do it more regularly, and I can do more things to make people less bored. Because one thing I know is being bored sucks dick, and it is not fun for anybody. And if I can pump out a decent amount of content regularly to keep people from getting bored, that is one of my favorite thoughts that I can provide, because again, boredom is awful and nobody likes it. So we will get to that hopefully in the next I know I've been planning for a minute, but like I actually have the time and the setup for it now. I just need to you know, to be doing stuff for it. And maybe we'll play Kingdom Hearts first, and then the 21st with let me look at this really fast, because it would play on Sunday. On Sunday we would probably start, and then the 21st maybe we'll switch to Skyrim, Oblivion, or Oblivion after some of the Kingdom Hearts playing. We'll do some of that. But we will move towards that in the next like next week or so. It just is gonna depend. Kinmono, do you have any games or anything that you would be interested in seeing play, or do you just rather see, you know, Oblivion or Skyrim, or, you know, I haven't done my Half-Life playthrough in a while, and I have a couple other games like Dark Souls and Elden Ring. Because stuff like that, I wouldn't mind literally just playing them slowly, like again 2 or 3 hours a day, just for the sake of putting something out there. Because I know it's like there's always like some value if you have like consistently like, oh, this person is gonna drop at least 1 video a day, because then you always have something during the day to not be bored about. And if I can provide that for like well, with video stuff like Video Game One, I could probably do 2 videos, because at least, because I'd try and do at least a manga video, and then I do something where I play a game. Let you know about my checklands. Oh no, yeah, no rush, man. But I was asking, like, do you would it just be something like Oblivion, or would you also want to see like beforehand, like we could do a Kingdom Hearts playthrough? I think it'd be really fun. I could play through Kingdom Hearts 1 in like a week. I think I could destroy through Kingdom Hearts 1, because the thing is, I could play it in long term, and especially if people are supporting it. Here's the thing: if people said, hey, you know, I'm just throwing a number out there, literally, if it's like, yeah, $10 a day, we're playing Kingdom Hearts, I could play, like, here's the thing, let me think about it like this. If I had like, let's say like 4 people came together and they said, we're gonna fund $10 a day of like 2 hours of Kingdom Hearts, I would play through just Kingdom Hearts for like 3 straight days, and then split up the videos over weeks, and like I would just no life it immediately, and then just do that, and then like split it up over time. Yeah, you down for that too? I think it'd be fun. We could probably start doing that on Sunday, because I got stuff I gotta do for some schooling for my degree. I gotta do that probably right after. I'll do a couple videos right after this, and then I'm gonna do that. But then I gotta do that before Sunday, but then we'll do some stuff with Kingdom Hearts. I think it'd be really fun to do. Or like Dark Souls, just depends. Maybe I'll run a poll and we'll see what exactly would be more fun. Would you? Because you're right now, you and Ken Mono. Because if you're gonna be the one to pretty much fund the Oblivion Oblivion playthrough, would you rather Kingdom Hearts or something like Dark Souls? Or if Ken Mono wants to vote, Ken Mono as a longtime supporter of the channel. And if anybody else, I know there's only a couple people here, so there's some lurkers. If they want to input and say like anything that they would rather see me play, if I have it, then I will play through it. I wouldn't mind. Like anything that I already have, I don't mind playing whatsoever. Because obviously, like the whole thing is that it's like I just don't want to put money towards a game that it's like I'm not going to play as much. That's like the Steam curse, is buying games and then playing them for like an hour and then not playing them further. I'm cool with whatever. I love Kingdom Hearts. That was like one of my first like big games like that I really got into, like story games. Like outside of like there's games I played obviously, but like one that like a long time that I got into myself is like Kingdom Hearts. And I got into it because like, and I would go into like, I'd love to go into the story of how I got into Kingdom Hearts in more depth, but like essentially like my neighbor couldn't get past Riku and I traded him a one of the D3 Digivice toys for his Kingdom Hearts, and I played through it and I beat Riku that he never did. First we can do once they wait, King can be the first one thing we need to spend money. Or King Mono wants us to wants Bungo Stray Dogs, which I'll probably do. Mono, I promise. Here's the thing, Mono, if you're still here, if you're in the member tier, I promise you, I swear I will watch the first episode of Bungo Stray Dogs tonight and record it and upload it. Like all I have to do tonight, I have a couple videos I need to do, and I have like 2 work assignments I have to do. And other than that, I can easily watch like an episode or 2. Don't worry about it, man. I can do it literally tonight and start doing it on the side. Because I think that'll be the thing too. I don't mind doing, and this will be the thing I think I'll put on there. I don't mind doing anime reviews if people want me to watch a show, but it would have to be at the very least like specific, like if people do the membership, the $7 membership, and then pick it, because I don't want to. It would save me the problem of being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put time towards something, and it's like if nobody's interested, like it would make sense for my channel if I was gonna do a series just for the sake of doing it, like if I get back to Fairy Tail, which I'll still think I actually might still do that, because that would just be an easy way for people to automatically to be like, oh yeah, I'll go see what else this guy has an opinion on. And if people want to like pick the series for the membership, I think that would be a really cool thing, just to kind of like let the market decide. Because if I ever get to like where I have a lot of people, I would just have it set to like voting instead of like you directly just say it. Mon, are you still here? Did you go to sleep? I need to know. Because that's going to be one of the things I do. I'm planning, like I said, I'm really going to work on the membership of the channel and content of the channel. I've been trying to my best to get like general stuff on, and I've got a lot of videos and whatnot that I have planned. But the problem is obviously like Fairy Tail being bi-weekly, it's like there's only so many. Luckily for me, like I will say right now, we have a lot of events going on that there's a lot of content that I actually can do, which I'm very happy about. But I'm talking about like, I really want a lot of stuff to be more spread out in terms of like in terms of Fairy Tail content with this. I want it to be like we get a something that has to do with relevant stuff in the verse, like stuff going on right now in chapters, like once or twice a week. I want to do like a character video a week. I want to do a power video, stuff into other series, like either just general reviews or talking about sometimes like just like, I'm going to do a video on Hitsugi's Perfect Blue crest and his different techniques. I'm going to do that tonight, talking about his different powers, or different ways that he uses his powers rather. And then like stuff like that. And then game streams is going to be my plan. Because I wanted to I want to do stuff for primarily Fairy Tail, but I want to have stuff spread out a little bit to where if people want to get my opinion again for something else, there's easy avenues to do that, as well as there's going to be extra stuff for the sake of entertainment. Because obviously I want to do Fairy Tail primarily, but I need to make sure that entertainment is the biggest say. It's the next thing that I really work on, because it's my main thing is Fairy Tail entertainment, but I want to make sure that I have stuff that other people can have on the channel that is interesting to hear and interesting to listen to. I would help. And I know, like, you know, random late night streams not the best time to be like, yes, the channel plans at the moment, but that's going to be essentially what we're going to be doing going forward. So I want it to be, it's like, I want there to be like a decent amount of variety content, but it's all in the same kind of people, like the same kind of like trough of what you're getting your food out of. You're not going to a completely different area. You're like, okay, if I'm gonna like this thing, I'm probably gonna like this thing. It's gonna be adjacent enough, but also I want to like the people to have like a general degree, because at least right now I have like I don't have like obviously like a big like I have like a decent sized channel, but like obviously it's like I only have a handful of people that came to the stream. It's a random late night one unplanned. But it's like I have a I want to build like a good number of people that eventually show up, and like obviously I need to be consistent for that. But I need to make sure that I need to make sure that the people here that are at the earlier stages that are treated the best, and the people that have been here the longest that are, you know, they're like, you know, they've got what is it, they've got, they're grandfathered into extra perks, I guess. That's the plan. And it's like you, Kenmano, Bladius is somebody that's been here for a while. Like anybody that's been here for a long time. Like I try to make sure that anybody who's ever supported my channel and supported me, like I try and keep them in mind. Especially it's like for people that stick around, you know. Oh, set an alarm. Damn, it's already late. Maybe we'll try another. Well, no, because I gotta work tomorrow. We'll try another stream probably like this weekend. I got a couple, like I said, I got to do a couple videos after this, and we'll get some stuff put out over the next few days. And then maybe on Sunday we'll start doing a Kingdom Hearts stream. I bet I have to look into what I can to make my computer just, you know, run a little bit nicer. And then maybe as we progress, like I said, we'll look into doing what we can for maybe crowdfunding, just getting some upgrades and getting things just nicely panned out. I'm hoping that Jen, if he ever came back. Oh, Gene. Gene posted on Twitter like once the other day. I would love to see some random people just return. But I think that's gonna be those things. Maybe I can. Maybe if I can, you know, if I can keep stuff going, there'll be people that will just pop back in. I didn't think Kinmano was gonna even pop back in today. I was surprised that he popped in for the time he did. But we'll see. We'll get things sorted out hopefully in the next few days. I'm thinking about doing one thing I'm gonna do. I promise. You'll see after this. In the next time I make videos, I'm gonna probably shave right after this video. I'm just gonna trim my beard up because it is getting so annoying in my face of just like random, like a hair just touches part of my nose and then it starts to itch and gets so annoying, and then I touch my face so that really gets bothering the crap out of me. You get for the people here, you're here also here for the post shave or the pre shave stream. Not fully, but I'm gonna go trim my beard right this. It's really starting to get on my nerves. It's just pissing me off. I don't cut my hair because like I usually cut it too short whenever I go. But otherwise, if I wait long enough, like I'll have a thing where like my dad pays my haircut and I hang out with my dad because he hates it when I grow my hair out. But I'm probably gonna get a haircut on my own soon. My beard though pisses me off like 3 times more, so I'm probably gonna go do that relatively soon. I don't know anybody else who has a beard. Like my brothers have much more like thin and like well like straight hair, clean beards, and I have this really annoying bush, like briar patch on my face and head that just make it super inconvenient. But I think that's just my problem. You have to keep it trimmed. Yeah, the thing is like I usually keep it pretty nice, but like I sometimes I get lazy and I just let it sit, and I've definitely kept it lazy, but now it's just like it's just getting so annoyingly out of hand I have to trim it. I'm gonna do it tonight. I've been putting it off for like 2 weeks. I'm gonna do it right after this. I gotta take my dogs out soon anyway. What I might do, I might take that's actually a good idea because I can take my beard trimmings and I can throw my beard trimmings in my backyard because it will help keep around any neighborhood animals from coming over and on my stuff. Because I have like we set up some of my cats to be outdoor cats and they've just been chilling, and it's actually been helping a lot because like my house. So for just a little bit of lore, my house was refinanced and refurbished, right before we moved in. It was like a house that like people didn't live in, and it was just like, I think it was like owned by the bank and like abandoned or something. So there's a bunch of animals that for a while like it just was encoded into their head that this was an area that people weren't at, so they'll just come over here. And like the house and stuff is fine now, but the animals, they don't understand. So like they would just like, we would have like rabbits and deer that just come and chill. And obviously like it's nice to a degree, but like the animals would bring fleas and whatnot, and it would be bad for my dogs. So we have some of my cats just outside now, and they you know, just more marking and kind of roaming a little bit has made it so like the other animals don't come in our area. That'll be another thing. I gotta upgrade my I have like a catio and stuff out there for them, and I have a little setup. I want to make it a little nicer for them. That's on my agenda as well relatively soon. There's a couple things we'll work on, and we'll put it as bonus stuff for we'll put it as bonus stuff for like the content is I'll keep you guys updated on what's going on for that. There's like, I swear, in our area, so there's like this small, like it's like this big thorn bush pocket, and there's like a small collective of stray cats that live inside of it, and people will catch, like they'll take neighborhood stray cats from around the area, and they will leave one over there. And so like the cats won't stay there, but there are some female cats that do live there. So like these male cats will come in and they will breed kittens, and then people will show up and then take a kitten and leave. So there's like almost this kitten hub that is near where I live. And because of that, there's these other stray cats that eventually kind of wander into the area. And so like I have to have my other animals like essentially scent mark and do all their stuff all around to keep all these other stray cats into coming in. And it keeps like, again, rabbits and raccoons and the deer, and it keeps other animals off my property, because like I don't mind them as much. But like the thing is, there's going to be an issue of like, if I don't have deterrents for keeping them on, and I don't want to like, I don't want to have to like, you know, get like a BB, you know, I don't want to just like straight up shoot these random animals, and I don't even want to have like a BB gun or an airsoft gun where I just ward them away. I'd rather do it naturally, where it's just like, yeah, they smell my pets that are there, so they don't mess with it, and it's so much better than any form of like. I was like, I don't want to hurt the you know, random rabbit that just is chilling. But it's like, I'd rather the rabbit be like, yeah, it's not safe to go over there, I shouldn't go over there, and then it just keeps out the problem. So I have to get a better fence for my backyard at some point. Who needs a mill when you got that? Yeah, we'll set that up. It'll be like what is, oh shit, I almost got my keyboard. What is it called when people have like a this, I keep prolonging the stream. I really need to end it because again, it's my beard is pissing me off so much. What it's called when they do like a some form of fundraiser, GoFundMe, crowdfunding, where it's like they have the goals and it's like they have the different tiers of things achieved. I'll have that. It's like the first thing is Oblivion, and then it's like way at the end, it's like finance a new fence so my dogs can coexist outside with my cats all the time, and I will set up a camera so they can run around and you can watch my dogs play with butterflies or something ridiculous. And it's, yeah, watch my cats just free roam, and then we'll have a cat cam where you have a 24/7 hour cat live cam where you just watch my cats do their thing. I think that would be really fun. That would be really funny. And you just watch Tartaros, and he just like harasses my other cats all day long. But anyway, yeah, see, it's like I haven't touched my face at all in the last minute, but my nose itches, and it's just like I keep having like aspects of like my hair just touch them in like such minute ways, and it's just making me so mad. But it's like I don't want to shave my beard all the way because I have a bit of a rounder face, but also my wife loves my beard, and she gets sad anytime I've only shaved my beard off really once. See, I would love to have my cats just chilling, and that's gonna be so, because one thing I'm trying to do is like I have my back porch, I want to extend it a little bit, and then I want to get it covered, and then that way I can put a cat door so my cats kind of have like a lounging room. And then that way they can go in and outside with like almost like a median in between, where it's not, there's just a door with like a cat door. It's like in and out, where they have kind of like their own little mini space. and then that way I can if I don't want like my cats just to be kind of going crazy, I can put him in there and they can just have somewhere where it's like, you know, it's got the sun directly on them, and it can just opened outside, but it isn't outside. You know what I mean? That's on the plan list. We're gonna put that on the list for things of accomplishments once we get started. But we'll see. I'll look after this. Actually, let me pull up. This is actually one of the last things. Let me pull up really fast. Let me pull up Kingdom. What would Kingdom Hearts even run well on this? I think it'd be. Do I have it downloaded still? I do. Let me actually see really fast. I'm curious to know like how bad it's gonna like be choppy wise. Probably pretty rough. Let me see really quick. After this, we'll wrap up the stream, and I'm gonna go trim up my beard so I don't look like I don't look enraged. Like, I imagine I look kind of like a drug addict half the time, where I'm touching my face, and they're like, "Has Rax gotten into cocaine addiction?" No, I promise. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I am not helping myself at all. But we'll see. I'm pulling up the game. I just want to know if it's gonna I want to know if it's just gonna load a little easier. Specific window, Kingdom Hearts. I don't have my controller. I'll do it later. I already know it's gonna probably be a little laggy, and I need to restart my computer anyway. We will do it though. We'll set up. What I'd like to do, I'll probably plan a stream. We'll probably make some stuff. I'll post some videos, and then I want to do like a general like content video where I'm like, hey guys, we're gonna be doing this. This is the plan. These are the videos that I do. We're gonna like I'd like to post that probably Saturday, and then that way it's like, okay, when are we doing this? I've got some streams coming up. We're gonna be doing this first. We'll maybe play Kingdom Hearts, and then we will work towards Oblivion. Yeah, I've been meaning to wrap it up. I ramble a lot, but anyway, I'll talk to you guys on the next one. I gotta work on getting this chat a little unchoppy, or not chat, the video a little unchoppy, and then we'll look at I gotta do a couple videos, and then like I said, I'll do a video where I just kind of like, I'm gonna do pretty much a shill video for the channel where I'm like, yeah, join the Discord, check out memberships, these are what I'm gonna do, because I gotta do a couple videos, and then I gotta get these last couple emojis set up for the memberships, and then we'll start to kind of get stuff sorted. I'm gonna make some coffee in a minute, and we'll start to kind of like lean towards the plan. But anyway, I'll talk to you guys in the next one.